Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's me, Atari HMB. How's everyone doing today? Welcome to the stream. Welcome, all my family and friends and my members, my friend. Welcome to the stream. No, how's everyone doing today? Hope everyone's doing all right. I hope everyone is doing all right. Let's see who we got in here. We got Wukong Isays. We got Jackal. Welcome, man. We got Matteo. We have Matteo DBZ. We got the Dark Knight 47. And we got Flow Clown. Katsuki Kakaroto. And what's going on, guys? How you guys doing today? I'm glad you guys are able to make it. We are about to be going in, of course, gonna have an interesting stream here. So let's kick back and let's enjoy ourselves. Get ourselves a nice ginger beer and focus. Nice ginger beer. And we're just gonna go ahead and pop this bad boy open. Yeah, there we go. Thanks, man. Thanks, Jacko. I'm glad to kind of be back on the mic streaming again. Just trying to pop this open without breaking everything. But yeah, you know the vibe. Hey, yo, pause. Yeah, sorry, Harvado. No, I didn't know you worked on Saturdays. That sucks, bro. But that's all good. Ginger beer. Thank you. You know, audiobook for bedtimes. I mean, yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's really going to come down to how we're going to really view this stream today. Audiobooks by Atari Agent B. Oh, Roz already starting with the... Dang, Roz. Coming in already. Thank you so much, Roz, for the $5 donation. Let's go. We already starting off strong, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. That really means a lot. It really does. So, let's go ahead and have a conversation real quick. Now, you guys might be wondering, like, all right, Ty, we all know Goku's 5D. So, where's this coming from? Well, honestly, it's coming from a particular video released by a guy named Surfbone. And, you know, let me make a disclaimer, bro. I've already said to people, I don't deal with power scaling communities as much anymore because the idea is there's a very toxic stigma about who's better than who over some of the stupidest stuff, and I'm over it, you know. So I would really like to approach this from a more analytical perspective. Thank you. That donation came through. Thanks, Shiraz, again. But, you know, ultimately, it's really going to come down to, hey, what are the arguments being presented and how is it being presented? Who is viewing it? How is it really being analyzed? So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to actually pull up his video real quick, and I'm going to actually approach it from a critique-based perspective, right? You know, I've known Surfbone to thought his video a while. Now, I'll be honest with you, I've seen the video already. You know, and with all due respect, I mean, to be honest with you, the video is more so about aimed at drip sauce, based on what I've seen, based on the things he's talking about. He's talking about drip sauce, middle track, you know, a lot of the high ceiling arguments that you're just kind of going, you know, haywire. That's clearly who it's aimed at. But, you know, there's still talk about, you know, because he said rather Goku's 5D or not. I'm going to clarify a couple things that need to be addressed. And we're going to address it like adults here. We're not going to go around attacking people. No slanders, no comments. I don't care if the argument is bad or good. We're going to approach it from a logical perspective. And then we're going to kind of dissect exactly where the placement should be. Because after all, you know, without showing off or without bragging, I'm kind of the guy who started the higher end Dragon Ball 5D, 6D stuff. Oh, yes. So with that being said, keep that in mind. And for those who don't understand, you got, like, let me just put a perspective into how long I've been doing this argument for. Like, the Zamasu 7D video was like 2017, and even before then I was doing videos in 2016. So to give you kind of an understanding and a perspective on how long ago that is, Jackal, for example, or not Jackal, we're not going to call someone up. Let's just say some people I know were in middle school when I was already making that argument, before they even knew what power scaling really was. I do know your thoughts on it. I do. That sound effect didn't play. I gotta, dang. How do I replay it? Roz, thank you so much for the, wow, really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for that. Roz coming in with the $10 donation. We're already at $15 right now. That is amazing. Like, if I can truly start doing full time this stuff, man, y'all would see so many videos from me. You'd probably ask me to stop. So that really means a lot. Thank you. Thank you again. All right, so let's go ahead and let's go ahead and kind of take a look at this video that Surfbone released. And you know, with all due respect, I'm gonna just say this right here because this is just the type of character I am. Go ahead, guys, and you know, be respectful to Surfbone. Surfbone has his own validated arguments and opinions, and you know, we got to respect those opinions. We got to respect the individual who made those opinions and those arguments. And we got to understand that, and he probably doesn't know this about me, neither does probably his followers. I have no personal gripes against Surfbone. He kind of came at me because that's just, I mean, no offense, Surfbone. I mean, this was like 2 years ago or a year ago about my speed-based video. And it kind of insulted my intelligence. Oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, thinks he knows what he's talking about. In reality, speed is, let me just clarify this. Speed, not I show speed, but speed is still a phenomenon that we are still barely understand today. Relativistic speeds, infinite speed, you know, rather it's infinite speed, immeasurable speed, anything in the levels of infinity, we mankind don't even know it. So there's no scientific notion or basis to go off of for us to even understand how a metric like that would even work in a system of higher layering hierarchies. You could use as much logic as you want, but ultimately all of it is just theoretical because none of it can actually be proven that that's how they function mathematically, period. So just let's clarify that, because, you know, people tend to get a little prideful and think, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know this and that. And like, guys, all this dimensional stuff, this only applies in fiction. Real life, we really don't have any evidence that higher dimensions really work the way we're hypothesizing. Rather, it's boson, superstring, M theory, whatever. All right? Same with multiverse theory. That's why it's multiverse theory. So remember that when we're going into this video. Keep your minds open. And yeah, just keep it straight. Let's go. Ready? Here we go.
So, we're finally here. After having these arguments fester in my brain for months on end,
Yep.
which is already way longer than most Dragon Ball fans think about anything, with many people from my own audience asking me to address them, and even people coming to me to represent them. It's finally time to put an end to this. Now, for those who don't know, there are lots of videos, people on Discord,
Yep.
especially people in my
Yep.
own YouTube comment section, claiming that the main continuity Goku from either the manga or anime is 5D, 6D, or even just straight up Outerversal.
All right, let's stop right there. Immediately, the first problem is 5D, 6D. You got to realize that's a very reasonable argument if you understand how the metrics for those tiers work. You know, you shouldn't be shocked. I mean, why are you shocked? And this is... And this is not, Surfbone, again, Surfbone, if you do happen to see this, any of your subscribers, remember, this is not a personal attack, but you got to think genuinely. Why are you shocked that a series with a kid with a monkey versus an alien lizard-looking Frieza thing who could blow up an entire planet with his index finger, sitting down in a chair, chilling, drinking ginger beer? No, I'm kidding. But seriously, sitting in his chair with the single finger, index finger, blows up a planet of 10 times the density of Earth with 2 stars that circumference it, under those 2 bodies of solar masses, sitting in his chair can casually just throw it down. It only takes a power level of 10,000 according to El Legendario Manga to blow up a planet. His power level sits at 530,000. And he's doing that. And we know Frieza's full power is 120 million. So he's about 244 times suppressed while doing this with no difficulty whatsoever. He doesn't train at all. And he's doing that. Blowing up planets already. And you think it's like a shock that they eventually start hitting 5D? You gotta kind of think. You say, I know in this video he thinks things like, yeah, but we gotta look at the integrity of where the story or narrative is going. The integrity and narrative of Dragon Ball? Like, you gotta think about that logically. It's Dragon Ball, my guy. The king of the world, president, king, governor, is a freaking dog. A dog. You understand? You got rabbits who turn people into carrots by touching him, and Goku can't breathe in space, but use this power pole, go all the way up on Earth. I mean, all the way up to the moon, and sent them there. And Toriyama already confirmed, I guess the power pole can extend about the distance from the Earth to the moon. He confirmed that in an interview. That's Akira Toriyama confirming that. So we got to think, like, you're dealing with fiction, 1. And number 2, you're dealing with fiction that's already starting off. I mean, their old man is blowing up the moon. Before Dragon Ball Z, before Planet Busters came out, the old man's blowing up the moon. Bam! And then there was a, what was that? That Dragon Ball movie with the vampire guy. He was going to blow up the sun with a cannon. Come on, man. You got characters who are quite literally strong enough to stop Frieza with a finger when Trunks could slice Frieza with the sword, but couldn't slice Goku's finger. He's just going like this. Think about that. And if you factor in the 90s anime where Frieza blew up a galaxy, then you really got to start to think, oh, snap, hold up. Maybe it ain't too far-fetched if they hit 5D. Outerversal, yeah, that's an extreme claim. I don't know where that came from. Well, I do, but it's way too ad hoc. But the 5D? Come on, man. You got to, like at least, like, get validated. Be like, So I'm going to just say this right here. I already know this video, how it works. The video, he's too dedicated to debunking the main argument because the group of people he's dealing with, that he forgets that maybe you should have structural integrity about answering the question so that your biases or any form don't come through. And it's not even saying he's biased against Dragon Ball, but he doesn't like this group of people so much that he's willing to debunk any logical argumentation about Dragon Ball meeting any of their particular agreements. Or it just goes against what he believes, regardless. Anyway. But let's see, the top tiers definitely are definitely outer in those sources, yep. The higher dimensional metas for Dragon Ball, it's supposed to be that ridiculous. It only becomes ridiculous too when you randomly put Goku, who's not the strongest at supreme levels, like Outerversal. Same goes with Marvel, DC, non-outer. See, those top tiers definitely outer in those verses. I mean, even then, I'm still going to disagree with all of you guys in the chat. What function of Outerversal are you using? Which, again, I'm not going to get too distracted from this, but chat, remember, what function of Outerversal are you talking about? Let's move this up here. When you think about Outerversal, like, what do you mean? Outerversal is beyond measurement because it's no dimensions involved. There's no dimension of time or space. Completely absolute, not platonic, because that has to do with Plato, I guess, but absolutism, like beyond it's what we call in mathematics, we call it monolithical. We're talking about the monolithical infinity, essentially, like all infinities beyond infinities. Outerversal was basically almost a border for boundless. Now Outerversal really just has to do with passing cardinality, but even then, if you pass cardinality, that means you're bypassing how many things can exist in a system, which if you do Aleph 1, Aleph null, like Aleph null, Aleph 1, Aleph 2, Aleph 3, all the way to Omega null and Epsilon null, those are still classified. Some, rather you're including ordinal numbers or cardinality, regardless, Epsilon null is a function of cardinality within its paradoxical definition because it still accounts for things that are in a system, but just of a higher subgroup of infinities that just go beyond that threshold. So in other words, unless you really bypass that, I don't even think the tier that Versus Battle Wiki has for Outerversal is the tier that Andre, Roz, Stride, and all of us kind of came to a consensus is that is complex hyperversal, multi-hyperversal, complex hyperversal, epsilon versal, or something else that's not outer, because the whole idea of outer wasn't supposed to be that. But whatever. Click the wrong button. What is the tier current go? Keaton, we'll find out. Let's continue watching.
Or
let's watch.
Positions like beyond the tiering system. This is not Xenoverse or Heroes Goku, which this same crowd argues to be canon regardless.
No, he's not canon. Why would you argue he's canon? Who is arguing he's canon? Nah, for real, but like, who's arguing he's canon? He's canon. Whatever.
This is main continuity Goku from the Dragon Ball Super anime and or the manga that they're claiming is this strong. The Goku that we all know and love.
Yeah, he would be that strong. I don't know about no freaking Outerversal. That's way too far. I guarantee you, anyone who says he's Outerversal probably don't even understand how big a galaxy is compared to a planet. They don't. They don't. Like, if you have a galaxy level fighter and then a planetary fighter, like, and you compare those two, you have no idea. You have no idea. It's like an old video Quaman said, bro, if somebody's 2 times stronger than you, they are so much stronger than you, you can't even comprehend it. Imagine if somebody was 2 times stronger, faster, and could jump 2 times higher than you and do everything double of what you could do. There are people out in the world like that, but the actual linear functional system like that is ridiculous, bro. Imagine if you were 10 times stronger. Bullets wouldn't even pierce you. Just off of that, because your bones would be 10 times more denser. Just think about that for a moment, for real. But a lot of people be like, you got all these people just, I know math, I know science. Bro, this is this, for real. I don't know about that. I just think Outerversal shouldn't be in a conversation with any of those entities at all. Period. But again, a lot of people don't know what Outerversal means. Like if I ask you, sit and come in a VC with me right now and explain to me what an Outerversal function is. And then if you can't explain it, then I'm going to ask you, okay, what functionality does the character sit that meets that criteria? And tell me how they actually can reach it. Because I think the problem we tend to get is like, oh, he can fight this guy, so I guess he's Outerversal. Like, no, it don't work like that. That version could be weaker. It's like if you compare the Rapunzel from Kingdom Hearts to the Rapunzel in the novels that Chris Sonnenberg worked on for Rapunzel the Tangled series. 2 completely different scales. But nope, people gonna say this, Adrian, people gonna say this character's broken, you know? Oh, that's good.
Now,
back to the video.
There are a plethora of issues that then arise from this claim alone. But there's some things I want to bring up before we start addressing the arguments themselves.
Yep.
Trust me, if you wish to truly learn something from my channel and why I don't align with these arguments, listen closely. As I've already talked about before on this channel, a high tide raises all boats. And as you'll see with the arguments made for Goku being this strong, if we applied the same line of reasoning when scaling other series, a lot more of them would then also be considered extremely high by the same metric.
No. Saitama, like, One Punch Man don't got a data book like Dragon Ball that makes any claims like that. So no, that argument can't be used for Saitama. That's not applicable. Sonic, you can. And I've already done that. I've consistently argued that Sonic's afterlife is a higher plane of existence. And I've literally proven that with Archie Sonic on stream. Because it's stated straight up. So there's no argument there. But maybe it's... But again, that's how I know he's talking about a specific group. He's talking about a specific group who'll say things like, Ramiro Tempest is only planetary. And same book. Like, yo, these are parallel worlds. Like, no, it's planets. I was like, whatever, bro. It's mistranslation. Okay, whatever. I'm not going to sit there and argue what's a mistranslation.
But conveniently, the ones that propose Goku is this strong actively downplay other verses and don't apply this same logic when scaling others. Which already tells you something.
I'm not watching this whole video. I'm just going to bring up the points he brings up. Alright, so for example, let's talk about the first thing. Because my whole idea, guys... Alright, so starting now at this point in the video, right? So just starting now, I'm just letting you guys know straight up. Starting at this point in the video, my goal is to just essentially disprove... So we're in the 25-minute mark just about. My goal here is just to prove all the arguments and just go against it. So my goal for y'all is y'all can say whatever y'all want in the chat as long as it's not harassment, acting like a goof troop or a baboon. Just as long as we can keep things simple and clean, like Kingdom Hearts, that's fine. I just need y'all to pay attention so I can try to show something real quick. What I'm getting at with this. And if Serpone sees this, which I hope he sees this part of the video, because I'm not trying to... I don't start with people. I don't burn bridges, but I'm just trying to say something real quick. Right here in this part of the video. I'm just going to go ahead and point out the problem is you could debunk... Like, debunking Outerversal is the easiest thing in the world with Dragon Ball. Every argument he's made, I've already made in another stream. So I don't care about the debunk of Outerversal. I don't need to debunk Outerversal. Period. I need to just look at the arguments against them being 5D, and then I'll point out why that doesn't work.
First argument people often make in regards to the other world. The first scan coming from the Daizenshuu 4. An actual data book meant
Page
to help
19.
provide more information about the series that couldn't be expanded upon in the manga. Trust me, this distinction is important for the other sources we'll be covering later in this video. Where this is the common translation I've been seeing.
Yep, that's Herms. higher than the sky, a dimensional transcendental heavenly country that cannot be perceived from the human realm. From this land, the gods look down upon the entire world.
But when I consulted my Japanese translator 02,
Now, I'm just going to say this. Just because you Japanese don't mean you know how to translate everything in English infallibly. Period. And I'll prove that. Watch. I will prove it in this video.
it says this.
And I say this with the most humble nature I can. I will prove it in the video to prove one important thing about
A
translations.
transcendental / supernatural world ruled by the gods.
Yup.
Higher than the heavens, transcending dimensions that can't be perceived from the human world. The gods of heaven look down on the whole world from this place. Now with that said, the argument they often put forth is that this should make the other world a fifth dimensional realm simply due to the phrase transcending dimensions.
Yeah, that's accurate. Probably higher, but go
But
on.
the issue with that is that it completely disregards the rest of the text present, which talks about transcending and the fact that the other world can't be perceived from the human world, aka the mortal universe, as well as the
Yes.
place where gods look down.
Actually, it says transcending dimensions that can't be perceived from the human world. That the human world can't perceive. So that means nobody in the human world perceives the room as spirit in time. They don't even know about its existence. So that world is transcended by the afterlife, including every other dimension in between.
Down from. Which, if you take where the other world is placed within the macrocosm, that's literally sitting on top of the mortal universe, this makes sense.
That's not how it works. Inside of here is like an eggshell. Toriyama said he made this map for everyone can wrap their minds around how it really functions. Sure, that's technically how it's shaped, but the actual physicality of it is a little bit more convoluted and complex than that. Period. That's why you don't see the globe ball when Whis is traveling outside of the universe. That's just a map to represent. Toyotaro included it one time in the manga panel to kind of give the idea that, hey, we're in a different universe, but it also just confirms that each universe has an afterlife. Back to the match.
So in context, transcending dimensions in the most literal
That's what I'm saying, play Tetris. Thank you! People still arguing about this stuff, man. What do you have to argue about it?
interpretation doesn't apply, as there's nothing that supports this as opposed to what I'm suggesting.
As opposed to what you're suggesting? What are you suggesting? And again, I'm not mad at Surfbone. I'm just saying, like, this argument just falls apart because you literally just agreed that, yeah, it does transcend, but there's no supporting arguments. And you're going to see that this is, no offense, a cop-out from the actual evidence.
So in context, transcending dimensions in the most literal interpretation doesn't apply, as there's nothing that supports this as opposed to what I'm suggesting.
So it's saying it doesn't transcend the dimensions below, meaning it don't transcend the human world because it doesn't support what he's suggesting. Let's see what he suggests.
But detractors will say that nothing contradicts the definition that it's super literal. Well, nothing contradicts the fact that everyone watching this video eats poop.
Are you serious right now, bro? Like, I'm being serious. Are you serious right now? Nothing contradicts that this definition can't be super literal. A data book written by staff members that are saying, yeah, this is the intention of Akira Toriyama when we made this. Keep in mind, this was released in 1994, between 1994 and 1995. The same year, Fusion Reborn came out, where they talked about the laws of nature separating the dimensions of the living world and the afterlife. 1989, episode 8, they already established the afterlife and living world are separated by space and time. So, what the hell does anyone having to eat poop have to do with that? I'm pretty sure every self-respecting person in this entire stream, unless they were like children, all 22 concurrent viewers right now probably aren't going to eat literal crap. Yeah, there's no evidence that you could prove that they do or don't. But majority-wise, that's a statistic that has to do with a case study of how many individuals eat poop based on a metric or based on a presupposition that doesn't even have a basis. Like, what do we base that off? 20-year-olds? Because some people in the stream could be 40. Some people could be 15. So upon what age group, what metric are we utilizing? We're going now, if you want to use a definition regarding sociological aspects, how many people on average do you think eat poop upon a statistical study who watch YouTube? There's no evidence to suggest that they don't. Seriously? Like, what does that have to do with an argument if we're talking about a data book made from, that's been reviewed and advised and approved from the actual author? So J.K. Rowling says Harry Potter has went through a fourth dimensional super space to get to Hogwarts, which is a separate three-dimensional world. If she says that, or if somebody writes a book and she says, yes, that's accurate, go ahead and publish it. There's nothing that suggests that it's not super literal what she's saying. But I guess there's nothing that suggests that nobody here is eating poop too. What correlation does that have? That's the only thing I don't like right there. Surfbone is a very intelligent person. I 100% agree. But I think, again, he was kind of caught up too much in his, I don't want to say feelings, but I think he was caught up too much with dealing with the Cosmic Kingdom. Because let's be honest, that's probably the type of people he's dealing with. He's dealing with the toxic versus battle community so much that he just is getting to him. You know, because Surfbone is a very intelligent person. And to see him make something like that as an argument just feels out of place. It depends, Soul the Dictator, because you see, dimensions in context can mean a lot of things. The only thing is, we know it transcends the dimensions that the human world can't perceive. What dimensions can the human world not perceive? Well, we don't know it's 5D, 4D, 8D, whatever. We just know that it has to do with, you know, dimensions. So we really don't have any evidence to prove otherwise. All we could say is, all right, we know there's the room of spirit and time. We know there's the pendulum room. We know there's the time room, which goes from the past, present, future. We know there's 4D realms that the human world can't necessarily perceive. Until we prove there's 5D, 6D, 8D worlds, we can't really assume the afterlife goes any higher, because then that just goes into appeal to assumption or probability. That's appealing to probability. Oh, you probably can't be all dimensions. No, we don't do that. We don't do that here. That's the same reason why we don't assume cosmic. That's the same thing we don't assume that Cosmic Armor Superman is Outerversal. Oh, but they're like authors to the story. Yeah, if you read Magi, so are they. Like Sinbad, he deals with gods who are like authors to a lower universe. That don't mean they're Outerversal. Just because you're an author of something don't mean you're Outerversal. It depends on the context of how they're really orchestrating it. So again, back to the match.
But obviously, we would never just assume that's true until, you know, it's actually supported and or proven by anything.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're talking about a data book, my guy. There's so many outstanding evidence outside of that. It feels like you're just kind of dismissing that in order to kind of presuppose that Dragon Ball can't be 5D. That's the whole thing.
Just like we wouldn't assume that Otherworld has a fifth spatial axis going by this vague definition.
You can't really assume it's a vague definition if you know that the Room of Spirit of Time, according to the Elder Kaioshin, is a Jigen no Toki. If we trying to take a look here, go to Amino Apps, go to Atari, my old thing here. If you pay attention to this, or I actually provide the evidence, another dimensional world of time, where it literally says this is a different dimensional world of time, or the fact that you have characters saying things like, oh, but Son Goku can never go. Hold on, let me see if I can prove it. Where the heck is that silly scan? Yeah, nah, not Shukun Ito. Yep, Goku's can sense Gohan's ki. That's not it. Nah, that's not it. That's not the argument I'm looking for. Here it is. There it is right here. This scan. Remember this, guys? Goku can in fact never go to the temporal world again. Oh, but temporal, like, and you know, Serpon, bro, again, I don't disrespect people. But like I said, man created an outer Shinra argument. I'd never seen it, but that's funny. That's funny because Shinra is the last person who has argument. Like, I'll take Outerversal Goku before Shinra. Like, nah, bro. But thank you again, Roz, for the $2 donation, man. You're coming in strong. I really appreciate it. But back to what I was saying, guys. If I type in temporal, right, pertaining to this life or this world or the body, coming from the Latin definition temporalis or tempus, which is time, measured or limited by time or by this life or the state of things. So given the afterlife is under this definition, even if you type it in, let's go with the Oxford Dictionary definition, relating to the worldly as opposed to the spiritual affairs, the secular, or the second definition relating to time, the spatial and temporal dimensions of, that's the second definition already. So when you're talking about, in this case, temporal, which tempor refers to time, and al meaning as a suffix, which means pertaining to or like unto. We'll go into that later on, because I'm actually going to prove something what he says here. But like when you have that as a definition, then it's not a problem to say, yeah, it's probably likely 5D. It doesn't need, now the problem is, let me just correct one more thing. It don't need an extra spatial axis. I've had this argument on Comic Vine where this annoying chick named Envied, she is really annoying. She'll follow me on every post just to try to come against me. Said versus battles, arbitrary dimensions, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whatever. Bro, versus battle wikis metric is great. It's a great metric. A lot of other fictional versus battles use it. It's a basic metric, right? However, like even versus battle wiki says, you either have to transcend by being infinitely greater and another spatial axis, be akin to fiction, like the other universe below you has to be akin to fiction to you, or you have to infinitely transcend them in some way or another. You don't gotta be a literal 5D. In fact, let's pull it up real quick. Let's pull it up real quick. Let's pull it up real quick. Tiering. Let's look at this tiering. I'm gonna prove the definition right here. Let's go to the extra dimensional part, right? I don't even really like to subscribe to these guys, but this is a good point. Character is an object that can significantly affect. So let's kind of look at this like a low complex. Characters that can universally affect, aka universal, big word, I've always said this. Affect, create, or destroy spaces whose size corresponds to 2 levels of infinity greater than a standard universal model, like a universe plus model. Basically, it's 2 universes greater. It's 2 infinities greater. It don't got to be an infinite number as long as it's 2 infinities greater. In terms of dimensional scale, this can be equated to 5 and 6 dimensional real coordinate spaces. There you go. It's not a 5D world. It's just, it can be compared to a 5D world. So upon the versus battle jargon we use, upon what metric we say, oh, he's about 5D. The world itself is not even called 5D. But in comparison to where his power sits 2 infinities above the general universal model. So we create a term called 5D when you can do that, or 6D when you can do that. If you above it by that much degree, then you can do that. So if a world is transcending a world that's already infinite, if you have a world that says, oh, the infinite universe, he's transcended the universe. By definition, he's already went beyond the infinity that's in that universe, meaning he's transcended it. Now, that means he went above it. So if I'm infinite 3D and you went above me, you 4D. Now, are you infinite 4D? Well, it depends, because we're talking about, as it says, universally affect. So if the 4th dimension he transcended to, he could destroy that entire universe that's also infinite, then yes, by definition, he'd be 4D. It's simple. It ain't hard. People make it hard. And then they go, oh, but these outerverse, man, you know what I'm saying? This is why I never deal with outer. Yeah. All right, let's continue.
Supported by anything. It would also, at the same time, be an appeal to possibility, where simply just because such an interpretation exists, that means it can be asserted. Which
no, that's not it at all. The assertion can come from supporting evidence. It's called context clues, my guy. Hold on, let me turn this. Let me. Hold on. Beat. No, not at all. It's not the same. Why are people comparing this? It's not an appeal to probability. It's different. It's literally, oh, this is the evidence. All right, so it's likely based on this, and that. The likelihood of this outcome and preponderance of evidence can support the conclusion or assessment that, yeah, perhaps it's a fifth dimensional world.
Which again, we would assume it's true when it's proven, not just because there's nothing that directly contradicts it. Not only that,
if there's nothing that contradicts it directly, that's even more evidence it's true. Anyway.
But the argument that, but it's not contradicted, kind of presupposes that there's other stuff supporting it, as if this isn't their only line of real evidence.
It isn't the only line of real evidence.
With this being said, it's referenced as being higher than the heavens, even though the other world contains heaven, and literally called a transcendental / supernatural.
He says higher than the heavens because in Japanese, when you say the word tenkai or ten in reference to heaven, tenka, right? When you're referring to heaven, usually you're talking about the sky, because heavens literally means the sky, the atmosphere. It's the same thing in Hebrew when you read the Hebrew Bible or the Tanakh, right? And the Torah. It's the same thing in the Quran. They will use the word heaven. We have words that mean sky, but oftentimes when we say heaven, it's also in reference to the entirety of the sky. You say sky, you might be talking about a specific section. You say heaven, you're talking about the entirety of the essence of the sky. Just like I say, look at that body of water, like look at that lake versus look at the ocean. But you say look at the ocean versus look at the sea. When you say the sea is different from when you say the ocean. Because like, oh wow, look at the ocean. Which ocean? Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, Pacific Ocean? But then when you say the sea, look at the heavens in the sea. It's literature. Japanese uses the same literature all the time. When Sasuke, was it Sasuke or Itachi? One of them was using the word, one of them was using Kirin. You guys remember the Kirin? They said it strikes down from heaven. Lightning strikes from the heavens and 1/1000th of a second. You don't remember that scan? Like, they use the word heaven too. It's nothing crazy. And Getsuga, 10 referring to heaven, Getsuga, 10 referring to heaven, Tensho, Getsuga Tensho, the slicing of the heavens. Come on, bro. Is that... I wouldn't even say it's a goofy argument. Like, see, I ain't gonna insult him, right? The bro is... Homie is... I don't know why I'm calling him homie. I don't even know if he likes me. But the dude is smart. You know, he's a smart guy. You know, still, guys, just out of respect, I'm putting his video out. Go ahead and give it a like, subscribe to it if you need to. You know, by all means. He makes some good content, I'm pretty sure. In this particular case, because I was brought this to my attention from some of the subs and the members of the Discord, I'm just kind of reviewing it and just kind of saying, like, it's like, come on, guys.
Actual world, which, yes, it's a supernatural world, as in it's a place where the souls of the dead reside. With heaven being a place where heroes get to keep their bodies and continue to train while residing in the afterlife.
Yep, that's true.
However, it's with the word transcendental that these people are claiming that it's a...
But isn't your boy, you said your boy transcended it. He didn't say transcendental. Your boy said... Hold up.
Higher than the heavens. Gentle.
Oh, a transcendental world. Okay, my bad. See, nah, I'm screwing up. God damn. Damn.
Claiming that it supports the other world being 5D, but are actually conflating it with the word transcendent, because the word transcendental is defined as relating to a spiritual or non-physical realm.
Y'all already know what time it is. I love this argument. I love when people make this argument. I'm going to just say all praises to the Most High, the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit for giving me the wisdom I have, because studying biblical scriptures, I went a lot into etymology while I was in college. Now, out of those years of college, woo, it's time to shine, buddy. So let's go ahead and start shining, bro. Let's start shining. You're going to like this. Check. I'm going to turn to Eddie Murphy. See, I'm going to turn to Eddie Murphy. You guys are going to like this. See, last time I talked to Shrek about this, I told him, hey, yo, I'm about to prove something to you, Shrek. Let me show you that Goku 5D after all. Making waffles. No, I'm playing. Yeah, I'll give the link after the stream.
So the idea of it transcending dimensions has nothing to do with the other world having a supposed fifth spatial axis.
It don't need a spatial axis. I'm going to keep saying that.
But that you're going beyond the physical and proceeding into the afterlife.
I think, again, it has to do with just the way Surfbone, respectfully to Surfbone, if he's looking at it from a very logical string theory dimensional scaling, I would get why he would say it's not 5D. He's right. But upon the versus battle algorithm definition we use for cosmological scaling would be equivalent to 5D, because it's clearly an infinity greater than the living world.
Which is, what happens when characters go to the afterlife within the story. Essentially, the surrounding context and how the other world is treated within the series, it all points towards it being a spiritual realm where the souls of the dead and the other gods reside.
Yeah, it is a spiritual realm. And quite often, in biblical contexts, the Quran, Sumerian, Egyptian, the Bible, including Japanese mythology, including Shintoism, and many other Chinese scriptures and Hindi scriptures. Where are my people from India at who can actually read Sanskrit? They'll tell you themselves that within most contexts, heaven or spirituality always transcends the physicality, because the material world, because as it said in scripture, everything that manifests in the physical is usually made in the spiritual first. That's just common in all types of religions. And that's applicable to here, because even though Japanese people are not necessarily religious in a methodical way of how one would go to church, Christianity was still popularized in Japan. And so seeing certain elements be borrowed for the sake of a story, and seeing that the baseline elements of Eastern mythology is still used in a story, such as, hey, spirituality is still transcending. Because if you look at Daizire, Umineko, Yu Yu Hakusho, Archie Sonic, many other series. Hold up, King of Fighters does it too. Oh no, not King of Fighters. Samurai Showdown. No, King of Fighters too. Because Xanadu literally said she's transcending space, or something of a different space-time is being warped. Because Nakaruru is considered the Holy Spirit that travels through time as a beam of light, and that's in her spiritual form. No. I'm getting too animated in this. I'm doing it. I'm too animated for this, bro.
I'd like to also mention that the whole lingo about transcending in regards to the dimensions is almost entirely power scaling lingo.
Not necessarily, because the idea is not power scaling lingo, because they mention it in Marvel and DC and other anime and shonen before power scaling was even out, back in the 80s. The whole idea, when we say transcending, we mean to go beyond. So when you say something's going beyond measurement, right? The measurement of the three-dimensional axis, the measurement of the three-dimensional universe. You're literally saying something is going beyond a level of infinity within the three-dimensional structure. And thus, since most fiction subscribe to this form of metric, that's why we have it. Let's also talk about the word he's talking about, transcendent. Let's look it up. Because here's a problem. The first problem is he's using the Oxford Dictionary. Let's look up the Oxford Dictionary, right? First off, let's look up this. Let's look up the suffix al, because a lot of people forget that. Of the kind pertaining to, having the form or character of, that name by stem. Right? Loan from Latin. Right? Autumnal. Natural, pastoral, okay? Accidental, seasonal, tribal, okay? English on Latin model, uses basis. Seriously, that's what that means. So when you look up the definition of transcendent, when you say transcendent, beyond or above the range or merely physical human experience, surpassing the ordinary exceptional, right? Of God, a transcendent, of God, apart from and not subject to the limitations of the material universe. I'm not making that up. That definition, hold up, let me close it up for the chat. A lot of people probably can't even see that. Hold on. For some reason it won't zoom in, but whatever. You guys get the point. You guys get the point I'm trying to make. There we go. So as you guys can see, it literally, I'm not making that up. That's just a straight up definition. So when you add the suffix al at the end, you're saying that it has the characteristics of going beyond something. That's what transcendental means. And if you want the honest truth of it, I can actually bring up the Noah Webster because the Oxford Dictionary will refer to the spirituality, but that makes sense because transcendent is in context to the spiritualitization of God being beyond the material universe. So even the actual root definition has some correlation to spirituality. So I don't know. Even in scholastic philosophy, higher than and not included in any of Aristotle's 10 categories. Okay? So if we go by the definition and we go to transcendental meaning, you'll see the definition meaning pre-natural, transcendent, which is similar, supernatural, relating to a spiritual or non-physical realm. Okay? Basically, if it's non-physical, it's not 3D. And then it goes here, you know, they have the mathematical definitions. But here's the thing. Let's look at one of the other definitions, because that's Oxford's definition. Let's look at another definition here on vocabulary. When something is transcendental, it is beyond ordinary everyday experience. It might be religious, spiritual, or otherworldly, but if it is transcendental, it transcends or goes beyond the regular physical realm. The adjective transcendental is used to describe a particular kind of meditation, a specific school of philosophy, and even a type of number in mathematics. Transcendental and transcend come from the Latin word transcendere, which means to climb, over, or beyond. And you're going to see this is consistent even in Japanese, as I'll show you later on too. You guys are going to laugh so hard when you see this. So now we have that definition. Let's go to the 1800s. What is the Noah Webster Dictionary definition? Transcendental. All right, so we got transcendental. Okay. Supereminent. Okay, so supereminent, surpassing others as transcendental being or qualities. Transcendental curve, no, that's algebra. Transcendental qualities among geometricians are indeterminate ones, or cannot be expressed or fixed to any constant equation. So that's the mathematical. Now, obviously, if we go to the word supereminent, oopsies, here it is. Eminent in a superior degree, surpassing others in excellence as the supereminent divine, the supereminent glory of Christ. So, as you can see, guys, the definition is very straightforward, and even when you do transcendent, very excellent, superior or supreme in excellence, surpassing others as transcendent worthy or transcendent valor. So the definition is consistent upon Oxford, Cambridge. I don't even know if we saw the Cambridge. Let's look at the Cambridge Dictionary, several sources. A transcendental experience, an object is extremely special and unusual but cannot be understood in ordinary ways. A transcendental vision of the nature of God. The Cambridge Dictionary, yep. A transcendental vision, yep, interesting. I like this, yep. Yep, and transcendental. Okay, yep. So this one is more so correlated to the ideas because this definition is very, synonym, otherworldly. Okay, so again, it refers to the spirituality, but again, as we know with the spirituality, it's still given a comparison that it can't be the same. Transcendent, greater, better, or more important, or going up past or above. So now that we've seen the Oxford, let's see the Merriam Dictionary. And we're just kind of doing this so we can kind of really superior to or going beyond usual, extraordinary, going beyond the limits of the ordinary experience. So in all definitions from the Merriam, Cambridge is a little shaky, but from Merriam to Oxford to Webster, and vocabulary, all four of those generally agree to the, consensus that, it means to go beyond, even if it's transcendental. Oh, sorry, I put transcendent. Let me put transcendental. Transcendentalism, a philosophy that emphasizes the prior conditions of knowledge and experience or the unknowable character of the ultimate reality, or that emphasizes the transcendent as the fundamental reality. So, like I said, a philosophy that asserts the premissory of the spiritual and transcendental over the material and empirical. Okay? The quality or state of being transcendental. So, pretty much, it's the same thing. If anyone here has ever taken college level literature, right, or college level reading comp, you'll know that is saying the exact same thing. Who's trying to debate Atari and why? I don't know who's trying to debate me in chat. Don't try me, bro. I'm not in the mood. Nah, I'm playing. I'm just kidding. Anyway.
Not something really used when talking about vectors outside of our community.
You don't need vectors. It's not necessary. All right, all jokes aside, it's not necessarily to have vectors here. But anyway, let's kind of like wrap this up. That's one of the arguments.
Out of context, if similar wording or conclusions can be drawn from multiple sources. This ultimate search...
Now, I'm also going to bring up this part because he does bring up this book by Mike Pondsmith, which...
Within it, we're going to consider it for the sake of argument. As stated in...
So the idea is this book is utilizing the ideology that Mike Pondsmith knows about the East and about general phrases he may have seen in the Daizenshu. This came out in 1998, and so the ultimate thing, if I've always said in my video, I've always said it's supplemental evidence. I've never agreed that it is the main evidence, because Daizenshu was the main evidence. Because as soon as I brought this book out, people were trying to debunk me, and I found it in the Daizenshu, because Mike Pondsmith said we based this off of Funimation and Toriyama's original manga. So I looked at the original manga and some of the movies, and I was like, hold up, this actually does say this. Why didn't Herms put this out there? Who knows? And so ultimately, when I found that, I shared it with Andre. Andre was like, what the fuck? Like, Andre was shocked. And so we found out, yo, Dragon Ball actually has evidence on being this strong. And we went from there.
In the scan, it describes the other world as Dragon Ball.
So we don't need to really see that part because I've never even said it's the main primary source. You can't even debunk it. And yet a metaphysics part, like, metaphysics still has to do with Transcendental. That's the same thing, so that doesn't really change anything. It's the other groups who be trying to use that. Now, this comparison is silly.
Just the mention of metaphysics now means that they scale to every single little thing that could be associated with it. It's just like how people assume because we see an anime character read a Superman comic that all of a sudden that means all of DC is canon to that series.
No, it doesn't. We literally saw, if you guys saw Calling of the Night, they're literally playing Street Fighter Alpha 3. Oh no, they're literally playing Street Fighter Third Strike, if I recall. Literally, it says Capcom and everything. There's nothing to assume with that. I think it's Alpha 3 though. I'm pretty sure it's Alpha 3. I don't think it's Third Strike. But I could be wrong. But regardless, they're playing that game, and I'm just like, I mean, there's nothing to be mad about or assume. It is what it is. So that's why I'm saying, like, guys, I'm sick and tired of people coming in here with this, like, these crazy arguments, bro. And they're not even, like, really understanding where the purpose of it is. Surfbone is a really intelligent individual, but I feel like a lot of these ad hoc arguments were dedicated to debunking it so bad that he kind of didn't realize that he's, like, it's like, I don't want to say proof by exhaustion, but it's like he's, like, exhausting himself trying to debunk every little thing and giving too much energy and attention to it. So anyway, outside of this stuff, because yeah, like what they mentioned, we're just going to fill in the gaps that Akira Toriyama just hadn't had time to get the scribble down, which that's what the Daizenshu did. Literally. So yeah, this one was a little silly because look at this.
Which required them to speculate, which coming from the guide that didn't even know that this was the Daikaio's planet, suggesting that King Kai's planet is a few miles wide, or that King Yema's desk is the size of the entire solar system. It's evident that these game designers don't know what they're talking about.
That's the problem. First off, Surfbone, I'm going to say this. Back in the 90s, hold up, let me just say this real quick. Surfbone, I'm not insulting you, but let's keep it real. Back in 1999, Surfbone, assuming you were even born back then, these game developers for this comic book knew way more than you and I knew back in 2000. They knew more than Death Battles did. They knew a lot about Dragon Ball, especially with the limited resources. Because you got to remember, the Buu Saga didn't start airing until 2001. You know how I know this? I got good memory, bro. Because I was there. So the Buu Saga didn't even start airing back then. And secondly, you guys also got to realize that a lot of what this stuff is saying, like Toriyama, keeping it real with you, Toriyama literally, there wasn't a lot of Japanese, references we can get. They didn't have the Japanese manga. Amazon couldn't just deliver you a Dragon Ball book in the 90s. In the late 90s, you couldn't just say, yo, I'm going to go on Amazon and get me a Dragon Ball manga. You couldn't go online and just read the Japanese scans like I could. You can't do that back then. So they had to work with Funimation, which the dub was terrible. And not a lot of people could translate the Japanese super accurately to the OG until Kai came along, right? So they weren't even doing this stuff accurately. And he was just kind of going off of what they gave him and what he could research from the original manga. Because that's where he picked up most of his information. Secondly, he literally says in the same scan, look at,
I didn't even know that this
unknown world, we think King Yama's boss lives here. Because he's basing that off the manga for the Dai Kaio. Based on some of the clips he might have... Because Funimation probably still had clips they didn't translate yet. And he probably knew a little bit about it. Because remember, the Otherworld tournament for PyCon and them, that started around late 2000s-ish. So this was 1998 to 1999 when they was developing this. So they probably had some stock images. Or probably Mike Pondsmith went to Blockbuster to get a couple DVDs to fill in some gaps that he couldn't figure out. Because back then we used to have Japanese sub and Blockbuster. If anyone remembers Blockbuster, shout out to you. So I don't really like this part here because, I mean, like he says, we think this is King Yama's boss, but the Daikaio is King Yama's boss. And then also, if you read this right here, it literally says King Yama's desk. He said, by the way, if you consider the scale difference between our universe and the next dimension, this should logically mean that King Yama's desk is bigger than the entire solar system. Eek! They're making a joke here. They're just saying literally as a joke. Because remember, the Boo Saga wasn't out back then, yet Mike Pondsmith still had this image of how the afterlife looked. Which proves that, because they made this image themselves. So if Mike Pondsmith still knew that the universe looked something like this, that means he had access to a form of a Daizenshu. Because this image of the Dragon Ball Universal model was not made publicly in Funimation's archives. They didn't have any of this stuff back in the 1990s. So that means Mike Pondsmith had to have some Japanese copies or books or resources that he can reference them to. So like I said, it's still a supplementary evidence, but you got to get with the times. You got to look. You can't just look at the source, Surfbone. And this goes for everyone. You can't just look at the source. You got to look at what time was the source released. What time did it come out? How many of you guys like that argument? I mean, come on. Let me get some fires in the chat. Let me get some fire. I'm feeling myself a little bit. You know, I'm feeling myself. You know what I mean? I get some fires in the chat. I'm kind of feeling myself right now. I mean, was that a good rebuttal, guys? Was that a good rebuttal? What I just said about how I defended this data book, was that a good rebuttal? I mean, come on, be honest with me. Be honest. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Exactly, Macadamia. That proves Mike Pondsmith he's a bigger Dragon Ball fan than you could. Mike Pondsmith is a bigger Dragon Ball fan than Surfbone's giving him credit. It's like, it shows that these writers don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about. Like, bruh, you just said they don't know what they talk. You know, hold on, I'm about to turn into Gogeta. This is Gogeta. I have two voices now, and I'm about to lay the butt whooping up. Nah, I'm just kidding. All right, but like in all seriousness, yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for all the support, everyone. But like I said, like Macadamia is right. This proves that he's even more of a big Dragon Ball fan, because we never knew what the actual, in the 1999, if you were an American citizen and you grew up here in the United States watching Dragon Ball on Toonami, or if you were in Mexico, where you barely could see any of the episodes because they would go to the Raditz Saga and then they would go back and then they go to the Raditz Saga, get to the end of Namek and then they go back, cut to the Namek, go back. You guys remember that? We get to like the last episode in the Namek Saga and then they just start back at the Saiyan Saga and we're like, yo, what happened? Who remembers that, bro? Yo, Okara Dragon Saiyan, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $2 donation, bro. We guys are going in right now. We going in. We on fire. Yo, you know what? Sorry, this is what we doing when we find. Hey, bro, we're not gonna lay hands on them. We just gotta have a conversation. But like, no, like I said, I'm coming in with, it's all love at the end of the day. You know, this is not a personal attack, but I'm just saying, like, Surfbone. I love, like, look, Drip Sauce is one of our brothers still. He's a fallen brother, but he's still one of our brothers, right? he's a brother, but he's just a fallen brother. You know what I mean? You know, like Drip Sauce is Virgil. All right. Basically, though, regardless of how Drip Sauce represents the Dragon Ball community in the arguments, you got to remember where he originally got the argument from. All right, where the higher universal stuff. Remember where it came from. Seth the Programmer and Webcam Parrot, who I know you talked to, literally booted me. Didn't boot me out their server, but Seth the Programmer tried to bully me because Revolution jumped to a conclusion that the World of Void could be a 5D construct, and I was saying, even around that area, like, hey, what if this is 5D? Because we were coming up with arguments Dragon Ball could be higher dimensional when we started looking at things and started noticing patterns after getting deeper into data books. And this is back in like 2016, bro. Seth the Programmer tried to straight up tell me, like, oh no, just say you're wrong, Atari, just say you're wrong. I'm like, why? I'm not agreeing with anything. I'm just kind of bringing it up. Nah, just say you're wrong. I understand. I'm not trying to bully you. Just say you're wrong. Dude tried to embarrass me and show off in front of all the subscribers. Webcam Parrot was part of that. Don't try that. And I remember that. You guys remember that stream. I had the receipts from his old moderator, who was my boy. His old moderator, I still had the receipts. He's like, hey, man, I think you should talk to Seth, man. You guys just have two different opinions on dimensional tiering. You wasn't wrong, Atari, but I just think he got a little too... I'm like, dude was showing off, bro. That's all he was doing, showing off. Anyway. Nah, Roz. Drip is a fallen brother. I'm standing by that. That's how it's gonna be. That's gonna be stated on the stream. That's how it's gonna stay. Period. That's the rule. All right. It's like what Luffy says, you know. It's like Luffy said. You just don't. You can have the beef with him. Roz is Zoro. Drip. I would say Drip is Sanji, but I don't know if he can actually cook. I don't know if he can cook. Drip. I'm not giving you the title. You ain't being Moss. You can't be Swirly Eyebrow. Roz can be Moss Head though. Roz just saying it how it is because I mean you can't call someone the N-word and think like. Have a bunch of people and goons jump you and be like, yo, everything's all sweet, bro. We ain't gonna talk about that here, though. It's all love. It's all love here. Let's go.
Size of the entire solar system. It's evident that these game designers don't know what they're talking about when it comes to the cosmology of Dragon Ball.
I don't know about that.
This definitely didn't get any seal of approval to cite the correct figure like punch.
Yeah, I know. Anyway. But if you watch Star Trek enough, if you watch enough Star Trek like we do, you can usually figure the pseudoscience of this stuff out. He's right, because even though Mike Pondsmith was guessing, like, look at.
Out as much Star Trek as we did, especially when they insert things like, if you had watched as much Star Trek as we did, you would be able to figure out the pseudoscience of this stuff out. Which, I wonder what pseudoscience in the series told them that Goku turned the supposedly purple powerhouse birder into a purple dinosaur.
That's not an... Alright, first off, let's clarify a couple things. Like I said, Mike Ponson was a big Star Wars fan and Star Trek. The idea is when you watch a lot of intergalactic, interdimensional space stuff and start getting into the Scientology and science fiction like they do, they can assert things that... You know what's funny? Is that a lot of the things they asserted were correct. Because it turned out being right. And how many people know this? Hold up. Ready? I'm about to cook again. Akira Toriyama used to watch a lot of what? Now, I'm going to let the chat figure this out. What did Akira Toriyama use as reference when he was making Bulma's ship, Frieza's ship, and a lot of sci-fi elements of Dragon Ball? Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, ding. Thank you, The Dark Knight. So first and foremost, Toriyama based a lot of this stuff off of Star Trek, Dark Knight, and many other sci-fi films that he would see from the West. He even says it. So is it a surprise that Mike Pondsmith would use that? Like, no. And is this a surprise that the hypothesis he drew the conclusion to supports that? No. But keep in mind, Birder, however, being turned into a purple dinosaur, for those who don't know, this is nothing more but a roast. He's just roasting Birder, saying Birder got turned into a sluggish dinosaur. Because what was a very popular purple dinosaur back in the 1990s Let's see if somebody in the chat can fill that out for me real quick. I want to see if you guys know who was a purple dinosaur. Clean up, everybody do your share. Do you remember that? Thank you. Barney. Everyone knows. Barney was a popular in the late 90s and early 2000s. Barney is a dinosaur from our imagination. It's a roast, bro. He's roasting him. Because this isn't factual stuff. This is just a roast. Dang, man.
But anyway, let's move on. So all we take is far what was time for him never circumstance. What is called, especially while he himself remains dead since we're in this.
Yep, all of this stuff is factual. I'm not even gonna front. Surfbone, good job, bro. You did good on this one. You're doing good. Like I said, Surfbone, if you see this video, skip to this part. Just letting you know, there's nothing personal against you. You're a really intelligent guy. But the problem is sometimes you may overlook a couple things and you look at the wrong arguments. Because like I said before, in a drip sauce, this ain't an insult to you either, my boy. But I gotta just let you guys know straight up. All these other YouTubers doing this whole Dragon Balls this, Dragon Balls powers killing that, Dragon Ball this and that. A lot of you guys don't realize that most of these arguments were made from me, and you guys don't know how to represent that argument. It's like watching, it's like, yo, imagine if a bunch of people's like, yo, I'm representing Marth for Zane, right? Like, you guys remember Zane from Super Smash Brothers, right? I don't know if any of you guys know Smash. You guys gotta know Zane. Zane's a legend. Because I took a picture with Zane. Like, imagine if people like came out of nowhere and was like, yo, man, I'm representing Zane in Smash Brothers, bro. This guy right here, I'm representing him. You're not good enough to represent him. All right, I'm joking. I'm not saying people aren't good enough to represent me, but I'm just saying a lot of, if Surfbone gotta make a video like this, it shows that people aren't really defending the 5D argument as they should in the first place. Because you guys don't even know that SJ Ryu and I used to talk. SJ Ryu would be asking me based on a lot of the evidence I've presented. Straight up. He'd be like, yo, Atari, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? And I'll be like, yo, SJ Ryu, check this scan out. Check this scan out. Check this scan out. And he'd be like, oh, snap. That's really solid. So,
you literally see Goku later talk to the Z fighters from heaven in the Buu saga in real time. So
yeah. Like I said, heaven has a differently time. Heaven only. I've used the same argument to debunk that. Heaven only really refers to just a different axis of time because it just flows differently. That's all that means. Because things don't age; they're spiritual. That's all that means. Anyway.
Now, most would wonder that
Yeah. I agree with this. Like, just because he's based on it doesn't mean that. I've said that before. Dragon Ball Super, The World of Void, blah blah blah. That's not it. In my own view of Dragon Ball. Yeah, he's trying to like debunk Koyama. Koyama was a reliable source, but here's the thing. He does say that Koyama is not a reliable source because he disagrees with a lot of what fans are presupposing. But the thing is, you got to remember, when I'm bringing the Daizenshu to Koyama's attention, when I did before, I'm saying, yo, Koyama, this is straight from the Daizenshu, and it translates to blah, blah, blah. Would you say that this is accurate to saying that the afterlife is like a higher plane of existence, infinitely greater? And he's like, yeah, I've already answered that in another question. That's correct. That's Toriyama's work. He doesn't disagree with that. And he's worked a lot on the afterlife because most of the time, he's the one who made Fusion Reborn and worked on the movies, which expand upon that. So it's not a surprise. It's when people start trapping him and they're saying, do you think Goku's complex multiverse? And he's like, what the freak is a complex multiverse? Koyama shared my post because I said, guys, you got to relax. Koyama don't know what any of this jargon is. He's not an astrophysicist. And he said, correct, Atari-san. I'm just a regular guy and blah, blah, blah. That's it. So is it reliable? Yes. Now, does it have, like, Surfbone's kind of presupposing a false dilemma. Oh, it gotta go. It can't be, not that it's a false dilemma, but he's kind of presupposing that an ultimatum. It gotta be through an editorial book or it's not approved. They can't just go on Twitter and say stuff and then that's it. I'm like, you're right. But he ain't doing that. He's just proving what we don't need Koyama necessarily to prove the arguments we've already established. Koyama just hammers in the nail on those arguments as they've already been presented. moving forward, and the next argument, I don't like this one. This one is silly. This one's silly. This is the last one we gotta take out.
First off, the thing about this simply entered in and out of the dimension by exerting
This.
right? Well, to those who, again, only take things at their utmost without considering the context, unfortunately, to take these statements at their utmost isn't really backed up by the movie or even the novelization. Speaking of the novelization, I'm sure most of you have seen these two scans before. They're supposed to be direct quotes from the novel, right? Well, it turns out they're not. These are the actual passages for both paragraphs, where they're either saying the boundary of the dimension cannot withstand the energy released by them.
Yup.
Torn apart.
What? This is where you know, and this is where I have to say, like I said, I'm gonna say it. I probably said this like 50 times in a video. Surfbone's a very intelligent person, but you could tell right here, this is where he starts reaching. If you guys think he's reaching with the statement, just type in the chat in all capital letters. Just say reach, because that's exactly what this sounds like.
And chances once again triggered within the dimension. As the light crumbles away, the scenery of the original world returns.
As the light crumbles away. Okay. Now watch this.
Essentially what the novel ends up implying is that what happens when Broly and Gogeta clash is a lot more ambiguous in regards to if they actually destroyed the dimension they went into.
How is that ambiguous if they just said the light crumbled as the two clash?
And at best, you either say that it's not made clear, and at worst, from what is being said, seems to describe in the same way how Gotenks and Super Buu use the Vice Shout to exit
Not comparable at all.
the Room of Spirited Time, which is its own separate dimension. Meaning that even if you assume the superdimensional statements were true and we applied them to the dimension they fought in, at best it's unclear whether they actually scaled to it or they just simply entered in and out of the dimension. By applied that even if you assume the superdimensional statements use the Vice Shout to exit the Room of Spirited Time, which is its own separate dimension. Meaning that even if you assume the superdimensional statements were true and we applied them to the dimension they fought in, at best it's unclear whether they actually scaled to it or they just simply entered in and out of the dimension by exerting their energy, which, considering Goku and Vegeta have already done stuff on this level before in Dragon Ball Super, this checks out and is consistent. So it seems the evidence points towards the fact that Gogeta and Broly don't actually scale to the dimension as elaborated in the novel. But let's say they do for the sake of argument. Can you say that the superdimensional statements by themselves are enough to justify?
Are you serious right now, my man? Like, are you serious? I just watched this clip like 50 times while he's saying it's not clear if they destroyed and like you're saying it's not clear if they destroyed the dimension, but it's like makes me wonder, like, bro, have you like actually looked at the clip? They go from 2-dimensional drawings into 3-dimensional models because the writers were using mathematics to make a super dimension in CGI in order to give the aspect that they're actually fighting in a super dimension or high dimensional space. Did you not pick that up? But it makes sense. Not everyone's a writer. But it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. Good games, though.
By the dimension still and misunderstood.
Now, this is the part, oh man, I'm going to have fun with this part.
5D realm. Well, the first thing we need to analyze is the Japanese kanji of Cho-Jigan, which the
Cho-Jigan.
more I researched into and talked it over with my fluent Japanese translator 02, there's a
I don't care if you're fluent in Japanese, bro. Mi esposa, ella tiene fluido en español, pero ella no sabe etymology. Entonces, si tú preguntas a ella qué significa palabra o original significa de palabra, ella no sabe. Es porque ella puede hablar español fluido, pero no sabe de original significado por palabra. I don't even know if I said that right, but you get what I'm saying. You ask her, oh, if I say, mi amor, dime por qué dimos, what is it? I want to say, no, dime por qué el gente dice de nada when you say thank you. And she would say, ¿de qué significa de nada? Oh, it means you're welcome. Transliteration, de nada means of nothing. Because you know how you say, thanks a lot, man. Don't mention it. It's nothing. En español, las personas dicen, oh, de nada. Oh, no problema. Because they're saying, it's a pleasure to help you. It's not out of my way, no problem. They don't literally say you're welcome. They don't say, oh, tú bienvenido. No. Yes. No, I'm talking about... No, yo hablando acerca de mi esposa en la otra habitación. Detrás. Okay. Now back to this.
Misconceptions and misunderstandings surrounding it and the supposed term superdimensional. And with this explanation I'm about to give, this should easily extrapolate on why that is. First off, the thing that needs to be established is that Cho-Jigan is...
You're gonna see why Surfbone needs to stop going against the 5D arguments and go against the Outerversal arguments, because he kind of not that he debunks himself, but look at the definition. I don't even need to do any work. Watch this.
often defined as transdimensional.
So Cho-Jigan means transdimensional, which is not necessarily true. Cho-Jigan has multiple words because it can mean super, hyper, or ultra, or transdimensional, depending on the context.
And the state or ability to be transdimensional, with transdimensional often being defined as relating to dimensions
Listen to what he says.
Other than those of the normal three-dimensional world, crossing between two or more dimensions, or something that exists, operates, or moves between different dimensions. But
he didn't read this definition verbatim. He skipped this part. Because science fiction relating to the dimension other than those of normal three-dimensional worlds. So doesn't that literally mean 4D, my guy? But then, applicable to multiple dimensionalities, having components or subspaces of different dimensions. What's the definition of subspace? Let's find out. Oh, a subspace is a vector, because he was asking about vectors so much, or spatial dimensions so much. A subspace is a vector that is entirely contained within another vector space. In other words, a higher dimension. Spatial. A concept similar to that of hyperspace, which is of higher dimensions. We'll find that out later, but the whole thing is... A space that is wholly contained in another space whose points or elements are all in another space. A hypothetical space-time continuum used for communication at faster than light speeds. What's the point? Gosh.
Something
What's up, Joshua Kalua? I said Kalua. Kola.
That exists, operates...
No, the brother can read. It's just, it feels like... Nah, let's not insult him. The dude can read, bro. Dude is smart. Dude can read. Dude knows what he's talking about majority of this video. Except when he attacks the 5D arguments, it all falls apart. Because again, Dragon Ball's narrative, you could tell that it was intended to be this strong. But when he tries to go against it, the definition he pulls up are ad hoc. It's like he's trying to pull this up to debunk it, but the same definition itself is kind of not agreeing with him. If you were to say Outerversal, that's easy to debunk. But like now you're trying to attack the 5D community, aka you're trying to attack my arguments, you start to see it don't line up, my guy.
Original. Why is that? Well, shocker to most, but it's because superdimensional is not a real codified or established word in academia.
Yeah, of course it's not an established word in most academia. Most of the time it's science fiction because science fiction utilizes the word mostly when you're writing out fiction in correlation to sci-fi.
And for the same reason, no set definition actually exists for it, with the mentions of it being...
Because in real life, nobody cares about super dimensions, because we can't even discover everything in our own.
On some blog from Amino Apps, and a discussion thread on Versus Battle Wiki. And if you make any real attempt to look it up on dictionary websites, Japanese dictionaries, or any real study papers, you'll come up blank. All you'll get if you type it into Google is that the term is used in titles for specific anime or Yu-Gi-Oh cards. The term doesn't even have a Wikipedia page for it. So why do translations, even in other officially published mediums like the comic adaptation for the Broly movie, interpret it this way even in a chapter title? Well, simply put, it's because they're directly translating each specific kanji in the word Cho-Jigan, as the kanji Cho is super in
Not necessarily. It could also mean ultra or hyper, as I said.
Japanese, and Jigen is dimension. However, the issue that comes up when translating it over to English is the misunderstanding on behalf of the translator that Cho is specifically denoted as a prefix for the word and not as an adjective or part of a proper noun. For example, supers for noun.
Yeah, we know they say Cho Saiyajin, but they always say Super Saiyajin, katakana wise.
Super within its definition, superdimensional, is an actual word commonly used within academia. So to reiterate, anytime you see translations citing something as this is superdimensional, unless it's a title or a specific character or series,
Unless it's a title, a character, or series,
it's simply a mistranslation.
you see the problem there? Unless it's a title or a character? Why does it gotta be... You just said...
It's a title translation citing something as this is superdimensional, unless it's a title or a specific character or...
Unless it's a title. Okay. Capítulo. Capítulo means chapter. Yo, this is... You know what this is? This is a title. Because it's a title to a chapter. So...
This is superdimensional. Unless it's a title or a specific character or series, it's simply a mistranslation.
First off, I don't know where you came up with that definition. Second off, it's a title of the chapter. So you just agreed in your own video that the super dimension does count as a super dimension. My guy. Zerkbone, like I told you, bro. Stop attacking me. I don't dislike you. I would even make a video with you. I will collab with you to debunk the Outerversal argument. I will make a title video. I will make a collab video with you on how, some people jump the gun with power scaling. Like they'll say like, oh, this character is this strong. I'm like, yeah, but the narrative doesn't want them to be that strong. Like, for example, you know if you look at Yujiro's earthquake feat, you know how crazy that would be as an actual feat. But you know the narrative don't really want him to be that strong. If I went to Itagaki and I said, yo, could Yujiro level an island? He was like, hell no. Because he goes high and then he lowers them. It's that author inconsistency thing they do. Back in the day, he wasn't really considering how crazy of a feat that was. Now he's like, god dang, maybe that was a little too OD. It's like what Roshi and the moon and stuff, you know what I mean? Or when Toriyama said, I think Super Saiyan should have been only 10 times stronger, not 50. It happens, bro. I will do a video with you on that. But stop attacking me. I made these, I come up with these arguments because I try to make sure it doesn't fall into Hitchin's razor. I try to make sure these arguments are foolproof. I don't sit there and just throw out Outerversal slander or arguments out of nowhere because it's fun. I prove it to the point where the Versus Battle Wiki don't even want to talk to me, and they say, you can't have this discussion no more. Not because it can't be proven, but because they know. They know. They know they'll fail.
So if anyone tells you that Cho-Jigan refers to something 5D or above, they are lying to you.
They're not lying to you. It could be misinformed. Some people are just misinformed, bro. That doesn't mean people are always deviously lying at you. They could just be misinformed.
And that any use of the word is entirely dependent on the context in which it's used in to find out what it means.
That's what I just said earlier when we did power scaling videos before in a lot of my other videos.
As transdimensional can mean anything outside or different from the normal 3D world.
Yes, exactly, meaning 4D.
So even if we refer to the dimension of swirling lights as being transdimensional, it doesn't really tell us anything about its actual size or how many vectors it's composed of.
That's true. It doesn't tell us how many vectors it's composed of. That I will agree. However, there were layers they were breaking through in the dimension, and their power surpassed the general universe, according to the novelization. And given what Beerus and them did earlier and what Infinite Zamasu did, it's not too far-fetched to assert that, yeah, it's clearly a higher dimension. How much? We don't know. It's safe. That's why we always say one dimension. We never jump the gun and say more.
What's also really funny is that this sort of argument has been mocked when Sonic fans used it, but now when Dragon Ball fans use it...
Sonic doesn't have a data book. And no, nobody has mocked that for Sonic unless they're a cornball.
It's fine. Yet another example of Dragon Ball fans hating tides more than flat earthers. Simply put, there's not enough information given about this dimension that Gogeta and Broly fight in to substantiate how truly impressive it is, even if we claimed that Broly and Gogeta destroy the dimension, which is at best unclear.
And then there's this.
As hyperspace makes more contextual sense, as a hyperspace is often defined as a space with more than 3 vectors. So unless there is evidence that the dead zone has more than 4 vectors, then we can't say that it's 5D. Even then, no one scales to it whenever it's pulled up on screen, even in the anime filler. Not until maybe Battle of Gods when Goku and Beerus were threatening the whole macrocosm. However, that's also then assuming that the dead zone is even within the macrocosm, which in every iteration of the map of the Dragon Ball macrocosm, the dead zone is never shown nor stated to exist anywhere, which already might tell you how little it means of Garlic Jr. existing in the anime filler means to the creator of these data books. Even if it was, it would just be a +1 on the amount of universes Goku can destroy simultaneously, so nothing really to note here.
Again. Thought I wasn't prepared, bro. Homie thought I wasn't prepared, bro. Thought I wasn't prepared, bro. Let me show you something. First off, let's go ahead and throw this out there. Shoutouts to Andre that Dragon Ball, according to the end of GT, already has Goku going to the Dragon Realm, which is a realm which is superior realm of existence. So Goku does go to a higher plane of existence known as the Dragon Realm. In GT! Ah, look at that! But that's not the only thing. Hold on, let me pull up the Dead Zone real quick, bro. Here's the original scan. Ding 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 ding. He's a phantom. So here I have it. The term Koji, Koisuko, right? A super space that absorbs everything, created by enhancing that sense. Not a single ray of light, a body, a soul, or death, etc. can escape it, their meaning. They're referring to the dead zone, right? Now, this is obviously a terrible translation, clearly. But in the context of the dead zone, right, where we actually are talking about it, where it is a super space, the term here, hyperspace. Okay, this is the definition they use.
超空间
No, not Chinese.
超空間
Chokukan. So, chokukan instead of akukan, because we say, for example, akukan. No, not uchu. That's the universe. Akukan. Yes, subspace. No, shut up, Google. You take subspace, or akukan, which is what I was referring to, you refer to subspace. Generally speaking, it's a hyperspace, which is defined as hyperspace. This subspace, akukan, is referred to in Yu Yu Hakusho. When you look up the definition of akukan, right, you'll generally find a lot of notes that are giving you the ideology of what it means. Generally, if we go to if we type in chokukan, and we go to the Wikipedia and translate it to English, hyperspace generally has several cognitions, usually referring to multi-dimensional space. That is space with more than 4 dimensions. M theory predicts that there should be 11 hyperspace dimensions. So, do I need to say more? I think that's enough. So, anyway, when you have this definition straight up and you have hyperspace, subspace, they all refer to a very similar ideology. Higher dimensions. And mention string theory here. So if you want to utilize dictionaries, then yeah, you can look up the Japanese wiki or the Chinese Wikipedias. It doesn't matter. Even if you say words like superdimensional, it's the same context. Because when you say hyperdimensional, right? So for example, Japanese to English. Chokukan.
Hyperspace.
Right. Cho-Jigan.
Ultradimensionality.
Like I told you. Because cho could mean ultra. Cho. Could mean hyper. Could mean ultra. Could have multiple definitions upon it. If you look this up, we just go to a simple site. Hyperdimensional. Super. Ultra, hyper, extreme. Because in English, the word super and hyper and ultra in English literally mean the same definition. Let's go to links. Let's go to details. All right? There you have it. You have many definitions of this. Let's go to this. Read more. Hyper dimensional. All right, that's Neptuna. I think that's a video game. Yeah, that's a game. But yeah, if you type in this, transcend, next order or dimension, usually speaking, you're going to not find much on this word. When you say hyperdimensional, you're also referring to multiple dimensions in that context too, or dimensions that transcend. So superdimensional, by the same definition, is correlated to when you say a hyperspace or a subspace. They're correlated to the same root definition, etymology speaking. So they literally mean the same thing in most cases. Not the game. I don't need the game. So in most cases, not the game. I don't need the game. Because like you said, you're not going to find a definition on it because 90% of the time, they don't really talk about this stuff. There's no need to. See the game, like I told you. But bottom line is, you'll hear this word, Cho-Jigan. If I type in, and this video is good, by the way. Guys, subscribe to Laughing Stop Media. Anyway, yo, who do I gotta type in? What the hell is their name? Sonic 06. So I want you guys to hear this scene real quick. I'm gonna turn it up the volume. Listen to what Eggman says.
あの光の体は超次元生命体の証さまざまな次元を吸い込んだやつ
They are literally fighting a being who was in the past, present, and future.
あの光の体は
Anish no kari de karawa.
超次元生命体の証
Cho-Jigan semeterato.
さまざまな次元を吸い込んだやつのか
So I don't know Jiren. Yeah, literally means eats of dimensions. So come on. Do I need to prove any more? Anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. That's all I gotta really prove about it. So overall, my thoughts on the video: 8 out of 10. Well, no, probably 7 out of 10. Maybe 6 out of 10. 6.5 out of 10. The editing is really good. It was a lot of effort he put in. He did a really good job orchestrating a lot of the arguments. The only problem is a lot of the arguments are ad hoc, and it was an attempt to take away from the credibility of most of the generalization. So, yeah. Hello, Milka. Thanks for stopping by. Exactly, Jackal. He does say it. Something I noticed, funny, I noticed that every time a Dragon Ball downplay or argument gets debunked, they always try and cherry pick something else to try and downplay. Yeah, that's generally it. Like, Surfbone did a good job debunking Outerversal arguments, but the problem he has in his video is that he's too busy focusing on the nature of the argument. Like, he's like, I gotta prove that Dragon Ball isn't Outerversal. But 5D, man, like, because admittedly, like, Drip Sauce and the others, they don't really do the best job on representing what 5D is, because a lot of them don't still to this day. And I don't mean this as a disrespect, but it's clear that to this day, their understanding of dimensionality is still a little bit iffy and shaky. Surfbone is a lot more professionalized in that field. The only problem is he typically leads to a false dilemma where he says, well, if there's no proof that there's another vector, we can't take it as 5D. But it's like, I get what you're saying on a technical level, Surfbone, but like, it doesn't need to be labeled 5D for it to have another vector, or for it to be implied to have a vector. Or as long as it stands as a higher realm of existence or higher reality, it's generally safe to look at other notes and contextualize meanings to assert that, yeah, it's likely a higher dimension. And so with that being said, I think the video is still 6.5 out of 10. I think his Outerversal argument debunk is good. I think his overall analytical skills are good, as it always is. His narrative is good. He's not really annoying. His voice isn't annoying to hear. He's good at narrating. His video content, I see him growing really far in the future, so long as he stretches out his content to being a little bit more engaging and dynamic with his viewers, instead of just worrying about petty arguments from individuals who don't necessarily like see eye to eye. And I understand they like to make false allegations and stuff against him. I've heard a little bit about that. This isn't a channel for drama, but I will say that generally speaking, I'm not about it. I'm not jumping in on that train. I'm just going to simply say that his arguments can use, Surfbone, if you do see this, you got to remember, bro, your arguments are great, but, attacking the 5D argument spectrum of Dragon Ball, it's best to have a genuine adult discussion with me. And instead of coming at me to debunk my arguments, because I've already heard your debunk here, why don't you come and try to learn about why I make those arguments in the first place? You could disagree and say, well, I don't really think that's what 5D means. I'm like, oh, look, bro, I'm not asking you what you disagree. I'm asking you to ask questions so you can learn. You know, because if you learn and you sit back and learn, maybe you'll understand. Okay, I could see where he's coming from with that argument, because you need to realize that, you know, I'm not part of that group. That group got a lot of what they took from me, and then they started doing their own thing, like they invented the wheel. You know, otherwise, that's all I gotta say. I gotta bring back the wheel. Appreciate it, Jackal. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for the support. I really appreciate it. Everyone coming through. This is a fun stream to do, and you know, I'm not even sure if I'm gonna stick around on YouTube, because like YouTube is not like everyone's expecting power scaling from me. So if I wanted to jump on something like gaming and stuff, I'm not really gonna get as much support, despite that I'm probably, you know, pretty decent at the games that I want to play. But you know, that's gonna happen if people decide to go to Twitch and support me. If you really care about supporting me, you can go and see my Twitch. I'm not going to be doing gaming on YouTube. YouTube is not the place for gaming, personally, in my opinion. But, you know, overall, like, hey, shout outs to Surfbone, you know, just for the sake of it, you know, I'll give this video a like, out of respect for the effort that he had to put into it. You know, you had to put a lot of effort into the video. He's clearly not jumping personally. I hope not. You know, but you know, if he ever needs to reach out, he could do so humbly. Nobody, and let me just clarify this. Let me just clarify something real quick to Surfbone's followers. No, nigga, I ain't scared of you. Period. Nobody ran away from anything or arguments. I'm married. I got my own life. I got other things I'm trying to do. I got cash money I'm trying to make. I got an art career I'm pursuing. I work. I'm an account manager. I got things I got to do. I got stuff that I'm working on for me. I don't need all this drama and stuff because you don't agree that a fictional character ain't that strong. Come on now, let's be adults now. It's fun to have a conversation once in a while, but we adults at the end of the day. Relax. Nobody ain't got time like that. I'm done with high school and college. It's adult life now. So nobody ain't running away. Nobody ain't scared of y'all. I don't know who the hell, like, scared of who? Arguing with someone? No, I'm just not publicly putting myself out there to get into an argument. Oh, he debunked you. He proved the point. Like, that's how people be acting. Yo, who the hell is this? I be getting the weirdest suggestions. Oh, look, it's my own stream. Yo, let's watch this guy. Yo, who the hell is this? I be getting the weirdest suggestions. Oh, look, it's my own stream. Yo, let's watch this guy. Yo, he sucks. Nah, I'm playing. But, yeah, you guys get the point. I mean, I pulled up all these goddamn tabs just to prove something goofy. Anyway, you guys get the point. By the way, yes, GT Goku does transcend another dimension, and the dragon dimension transcends the afterlife. So, yeah. 7D GT Goku on the way, baby. Stay hating. Stay hating. I don't care. Anyway, back to this bad boy. I'm going to have to redo this list. Because ever since SJ Ryu found out about that super space dimension, I'm going to have to redo this because the time ring is 8D. Nah, bro. We're going to have to up this list because the subspace that SJ Ryu brought up that has no space and no time, if it has no space and no time and it can travel between the dimensions of the Xeno world, because the Supreme Kai, it's not Outerversal because they need a time ring to travel, but they could still use it to get to the Xeno world, implying the Xeno world is still connected to a no time, no space zone. But they can't use it to get outside of time. And as they said, it works like time travel, the Shukan Ito from Dr. Fudamase. So Professor Fudamase proved that. So in overall, I would say that bumps things up to 70. Woo! And that means Goku, the entire ensemble, might be 11th dimensional. Yup. And actually, the other world could be 5D if we factor in the Dead Zone is a 5D structure and the other world transcends the dimensions that can't be invisible. The other world could be 60. The super dimensional could be 60 plus. The neutral zone is 7D for the multiverse. Xenoworld is 8D The subspace is 9D, the time ring is 10D, the space between timelines is 11D, and the ensemble is 12D. Meaning Dragon Ball does get to low hyperversal once I fix this list up. Yeah, that much I can definitely agree with. Dragon Ball now hit the big H. Hyperversal, baby. Stay hating. Hoes mad. That's all I'm gonna say. And yes, that means Anti-Spiral gonna get punched right upside his goddamn head. Wait, is Merge Zamasu 11D or just Infinite Zamasu? Infinite Zamasu is weaker than Merge Zamasu. Goku can beat Infinite Zamasu. He said, give me another Sensu Bean, but Merge Zamasu, he can't. So Merge Zamasu is 11D now. Oh, well, I think I just said, hold on. The Xenoworld is 9D. No, Xenoworld is, hold on. What did I say? I gotta look at the stupid list again. So if the Dead Zone is 5D, because it is a hyperspace, right? And the time room, pendulum room, blah, 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 blah. The other world transcends dimensions invisible. So if the other world is 6D, right, and the outside of that is like 7D, right, for like the entire cardinal universe, then that means the neutral zone being 7D, right, and the Xenoworld being 8D. The subspace where Goku uses for Shukan Ito and the Kai Kai technique is 9D, which is really good. That means it's 9th dimensional, and that means the room and spirit and time, the time ring would be 10th dimensional, meaning the entire timeline. And then the space between timelines is 11th dimensional, which Infinite Zamasu traveled through. So if Infinite Zamasu can move through an 11th dimensional space, he's not Infinite 11D, he's 10D. Right? He's like Infinite 10D, because you're talking about a 10th dimensional time ring that stretches out for infinity, but he could travel to multiple different 10D worlds. So he can't destroy an infinite number of 10D worlds, but he could destroy a solid set. But he has 11th dimensional travel. You can argue that he's 11th dimensional in nature, but has the capacity to destroy a 10th dimensional world. Meaning, this guy here, hold up. Wait. That means this guy here, the Ultimator, I am the material manifestation of implicated blah, blah, blah. I'm the Ultimator, the personification of the 10th dimension. The ultimate, yeah, guess what? Zamasu, in Jiren, Zamasu scales to something like this. And Jiren can blink him away. And it's implied Ultra Instinct transcends those variants. So Ultra Instinct for the anime could be literally 11th dimensional, in my opinion, honestly. Like, do I think Goku is infinitely stronger than Merge Zamasu? Or Infinite Zamasu? Is Goku infinitely stronger than Infinite Zamasu by the time he reaches Mastered Ultra Instinct? I really do think he is. I think he is. I think it's solid enough to say his power level hits a transcending type of level where he could be at the peak of 10D or low end of 11D. Period, though. I don't care. Get mad all you want. I'm going to debunk this argument. I don't care. Go ahead. Do what you want to do. I'm saying as far as a brief assessment on a mid-end scaling Goku, consistently, I think Goku would be 10th dimensional to 11th dimensional now. With evidence, thanks to SJ Ryu's new video. So yeah, and Jiren will blink you away. You 10th dimensional, and you ain't upper 10th dimensional, Jiren will blink you away. It don't matter. Jiren is blinking you away. Ultimator, if Ultimator ain't the upper echelon of 10D, Jiren is blinking him away. What about the Anti-Spiral? He has 10 to 11. Jiren is blinking him away. Stay mad. Unless you this guy, if you ain't this guy, you ain't fighting Jiren, bro. But anyway, guys, you guys get the picture. Daima Goku 11D. He probably might be. Daima Goku might. I still am not the biggest fan of it because I feel like we got to finish Super. But depending on what happens, Daima Goku, he might. That dude. Daima Goku might end up being like infinite hyperversal for all we know. We have no idea what's going to happen, bro. Oh yeah, Jiren solos so many verses. Like, the fact is like 10D. Jiren is as casual as Geese Howard. I don't know why Geese Howard beat up Reverse like that. Hold up. Which one was it? Hold up. Roz got to show me the scan. This dude fights reverse and just decided, I'm going to beat you so bad that I don't even want your powers. Yeah, here. Imagine fighting a 11th dimensional entity, right? Because it's M theory. There's 11 dimensions. Hold on. How many dimensions M theory? I think it's 11. Yeah. So imagine fighting an 11th dimensional entity, and you can argue reverse is reverse is the verse or reverse is the embodiment of it. Imagine fighting this thing and you casually beating him up, and just like, bro, I don't even want your powers. You're trash. Here it is. Look. Imagine you fight this thing, bro. Imagine you fight this thing, and he's like, I don't even want your powers. You 11th dimensional. I don't want your powers. I don't care. You're that trash. Like, Geese is built different, bro. Geese versus Jiren would actually be a fun fight. That would be amazing. The difference is, though, Jiren would scale to the upper echelons of 10D. Infinite Zamasu could travel through the 11th dimensional, but he can't actually like orchestrate and control it all like Reverse can. So Geese has an edge over Jiren there. So overall power and speed, casuality, I would give it to Geese, but that would be a funny fight. And don't even get me started on like Unicron, because Unicron is built different. That dude, he ate his oats and his Wheaties. Unicron would slap Geese and Jiren at the same time. Atari, after the stream, I want to just talk to you real quick about Xenoblade, since this has been a question I have for a few months now. All right, for sure, man. Atari, can I ask you something? Yeah, go ahead if you read this Goku solos. I agree, Goku does solo, pretty much. Obviously, like, he doesn't solo everyone. That's a joke. A lot of people don't realize that Goku solos is a joke. Unless it's Xenogoku, then it's not a joke. But, bro, I'm about to just do a stream dedicated to scaling Transformers one day. Because Jacko's getting me back into it. Jacko's getting me back into Transformers. I'm getting back into it. I might have to rewatch it. Yeah. Nah, for real. Like, Transformers is where it's at. I might have to look at Transformers and I might rewatch Gundam so we can have like a proper Gundam versus Transformer power scale. That would be pretty fun. I'll look at the higher ends of Gundam and then Transformers and kind of compare the two. That would be fun. Oh yeah, Ultra Ego Vegeta dog walks 99% of Marvel and DC. It's only like the abstracts who will be like crazy for him. Because the majority of them don't really scale to those. Optimus Prime is optimal, okay? He does the optimal combos. Thank you, Milka. I'm about to just start hitting on people on stream. Milka, why don't you drop in my DMs real quick after the stream? I'm kidding, I'm married. You know why you can't super chat? I have no idea. But like the reason why I wouldn't. Another reason. Oh, we got enough subscribers. Literally, like, it literally happened just now. Ha! Let's go, baby. Keep subscribing, people. If we hit 2,000 subs, you already know what I'm about to do. But, yeah, like, we need to think of a new topic, bro. I don't even know, like, bro, what do I even do? Like, what do I play? Tetris? But we should play some Tetris. Nah, like, But like in all seriousness, like I don't even be getting like the whole point. Like I don't even understand the whole point of like where like Surflong's coming from with like his video, because he just be saying stuff and I'd be like, bro, why do you got to make it like it's a personal attack? Like nobody dislikes you or anything like that. I'm just simply saying, like, I don't even know how to really put it. Anyway, you guys get the picture. But like the real problem is with Surflong's videos, like he'll attack an argument, but he'll include like everyone in that group, and I'm like, bro, not everyone is on the same page. Like, no, I don't agree with everything Drip and them say. Drip ain't dumb either. Drip just gets a little too excited with the scaling. Drip is the type of person who will like sit there and tell you that, oh, I can do 1,000 push-ups, and like he probably could, but he ain't at that level yet. That's the problem with like Drip Sauce's arguments 90% of the time. So like when I'm seeing these videos, it's like it don't even make sense 90% of the time. So yeah, you guys get the point though. Anyway. Crap, messed that up. But yeah, you guys get the point though. Let's see what this chat say. God dang, you're fast attack. Nah, I'm actually Garbanzo right now. God dang it, bro. But yeah, like that's why I don't be agreeing with him. But the thing is, he acts like every group or people was like on the same team. So that's how you know, like, they really don't know much about me. They just kind of see like, oh, Drip Sauce makes, God dang it, Drip Sauce makes this argument, so I guess Atari agrees with him. I'm like, bro, I don't. It's like, what's that meme from Boondocks? When the Boondocks, he was like, I don't know you, motherfucker. That's kind of what it's like, bro. So I'd be like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, nobody is sitting here in their right mind would think that I would make an argument like that. Do that. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, let's do that. But yeah, you guys get where I'm coming from. You see, anyone got any questions? Go ahead and ask the questions in the chat. I'll try to read them while I'm playing. Because right now, I am... yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, so you guys get the point though. No, we're not gonna do that. Put that there. Put that there. No, I'm not gonna put that there. Put that there instead. That, and put that there, put that there, put that there, because I need that piece for later. I tried to get a triple combo off of that. Couldn't do it. Oh well. Crap, messed up. Alright, whatever. We'll do that. Yep. And then we'll do this. And do this. Do that. Fix that up. Anyway, whatever. Who cares? Celios versus Eternity versus Galactus. I'm going to give it to Eternity because Eternity has consistently been above Galactus if he's not well fed. Bro, I joined the stream and this man is cranking out Tetris. Harado, I am dookie at Tetris right now. Yeah, my fingers, they're not like, you know. They're not fast. At least as used as they used to be. Heck, you know what I used to do? I used to do this game. Like this game right here. Like I used to test out my speed and be like, yo, is my reaction time fast? See, look at that. That's terrible. Like 200 milliseconds. Sub 200. Sub 90. Sub 70. Yeah, 190 on average. So I guess like 190 divided by 16 means I can react to 11 frames or 12 frames in a video game. Alright, anyway. I think Unicron will absolutely dog walk Galactus. Like, he'll actually take, like, a beer bottle from a galactic beer bottle and smash Galactus upside his head. Yeah, that time I got reincarnated as Yamcha, that should scale to Dragon Ball Heroes. I guess that's slightly better. Alright, can we react? Yeah, I guess we still reacting to 11 frames consistently. Whatever. I guess reacting to 1/6 of a second is fine. I mean, 1/10 of a... No, not 1/10. 1/6 of a second is fine. You ever plan on power scaling Wang Ling from the daily life of the Immortal Kid series? If I get to know where to watch it, then sure. If you tell me where I can watch it at, I might look at it. Because like I said, if I can actually start doing this stuff full time, I will watch like... You guys tell me to watch the Teletubbies. I will watch the Teletubbies and I will power scale the Teletubbies. I'm not even joking. Teletubbies can like scale to the sun because they can perceive it and like encourage the sun to go down because it's baby sun, but it's still the size of ours because it lights up the whole planet. Bro, I will scale Teletubbies. In Xenoverse, feat question, Xenoverse 2, the future warrior chase Bardock to a different timeline. How fast is that feat? It's some level of immeasurable speed. Like, so they're immeasurable, but they're in some infinity that's much greater than the generalized scope you'd have. If you read this, Goku Soul's asked. In the DBZ guidebook that talks about the game, it says the afterlife is a place of higher dimensions, plural. So does that mean it's at least 60? It could be. A reason I say that is because if you remember the bike, I'll pull it up right now. I'm pulling it up right now. Mm-hmm. Let me see. Extra dimensional. There's a scan where Goku waste, I think it was South Kai, that is extra dimensional. Here it is. Right here. This right here. So if you look at this scan in 175, right? It translates to the favorite bike of the Eastern Kaiō rode this with Goku in a different dimension or another dimensional space. There are no wheels, it floats and runs. The Eastern Kaiō seems to speed enthusiast who wants to race immediately. So if you guys remember like this old race, that's kind of what they were talking about. And like if we actually look at some of the definitions that take place here, I believe it uses the term dimension of space. But like I don't remember here if it's talking about Japanese to English. Yeah, different dimensional space. Jiren kukan. Right? So you do this. You have the word kukan, which means dimensional space. And then you have this, which is just over here. Different. So if we look at this definition, right? Iji, which means different. And mostly a different order. Different usually in the context, and then next, right? So you have different and next in that context. And so when you do stuff like this, let me see here. So when you do stuff like this, let me see. No, that's not the log I was looking for. Dead space. Dead in another dimension. So yeah, it really means another dimensional space. So in other words, it's just saying another space with a different dimension. So it just means a different measurement. That's pretty much all it means. So there's nothing crazy too crazy about it. Just Jigen just means a different dimension, and it just says space. So different dimensional space. So in most cases, it's hard to say that it's extra dimensional, but some definitions imply it's an extra dimensional space, I guess. So as you can see, different dimension is just what they say there. And then you have this word here. This refers to space, right? So it's just a different dimension of space. That's all. Otherwise, though, regardless, it's still impressive because it shows that the afterlife does have different dimensions contained within it. And it kind of makes sense when you factor in that when Paikon and Goku fought with the planets they were destroying. But yeah, you know. But if you type in Jigen by itself, right? Jigen. Let me see here. That extra dimensional space was just a simple room in the Daikai plane. Yeah, exactly. Again, yeah. Queer. That's funny. That's funny. Japanese English kanji. What does this mean? Different dimension space. It could mean different dimensional spatial axis with the right context in a fictional story. Your question is difficult to answer because different dimensional spatial axis is a fictional term with no rigorous defined definition. It means different dimension in space. There's nothing in the here that says axis. That's right. Yeah, so it's just a different dimensional space. So upon investigation, there's no implication that it has another vector. But I think people need to realize it doesn't say extra dimension. It says Jigen, which just means a different dimensional space. You see, Surfbone? I'm not highballing or wanking. When people ask questions, I answer them accurately. I'm not going to make assumptions to say crazy crap. But overall, though, that's still pretty cool. The daily life of a mortal king. Hold on, let me type that in. This guy. This guy. Alright.
修真，人们享受着修真科技带来的便利生活，一如既往，和谐安康，直到。
See, I only know some words in Chinese. You ask me, "Oh, 你会修中文吗?" I'd say to you, 我会修中文一点. That's all I would respond with, because I would not know how to say anything else besides a couple things. So if you ask me, "Oh, 你会修中文吗?" Bullshit. No. Anyway. Cialis? Who the heck is Cialis? I don't know who that is. Oh. That's a hard battle. That's a real hard battle. It's going to be in Cialis' favor. But if we use a high ball Unicron, then it's going to be in Unicron's favor. So it's going to depend. Mid-end to mid-end, Cialis absolutely destroys. But high-end Unicron, it's going to be actually a really, really, really close fight. But it's going to be in Unicron's favor. Yeah, Liu Kang's Black Hole Fatality. Thank you, RJ, for the $1.99 donation. And thank you, The Dark Knight, for a $2 donation. Can you do Liu Kang's Black Hole Fatality? Yeah.
Finish him.
Insane. Look at how easily he created it.
Fatality. Liu Kang.
And Liu Kang is not affected from the gravity whatsoever. Beautiful. Yeah, exactly. Miru. Yep, it's way too overkill. And all the other fatalities. The Black Hole Fatality is crazy, and I've seen... Oh, yeah, absolutely. Do you know about the Ultra Vegito series? I have. I do know about the series. And if you want my opinion, Ultra Vegito is way too strong for his own good. Yo, what's up, Red Hair? Red Hair, people aren't ready for me because I told them that I got my boy. People aren't ready for me because I told them that Luffy is still faster than most of Naruto. And that he's going to whoop the crap out of Sasuke because he speed blitzed them. But nobody wants that conversation. I said, yo, give me proof that Sasuke is objectively 100 times faster than Light, right? Nobody can do that. And you look at this, right? You look at this whole battle. Like, people forget in this fight, Burndy World got so much stronger. Look at this, look at this. 100-fold speed, my guy. 100-fold speed, and this Luffy base form is way stronger than... Look. Not the time skip, this one. Zoro dodged it. He dodged it. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. I love Naruto, but like I said, Naruto outscales them in terms of raw power. But shut up. They don't scale the speed, boy. You ain't arguing with me on that. Never. Get out of here. But anyway, yeah, that's what I wanted to show you real quick. Red hair. I have the nerve to argue with me that Naruto scales to this, bro. Got people going at 100-fold speed. And this is not even Gear 4. This is not even the Luffy that fought, because Hordy Jones was stronger. Hordy Jones is stronger than this, than Burndy World. And Burndy World literally was moving 100 times faster. Like, come on. Objectively got them 100 times faster. And you know why you can't prove it? Because if I type in, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look. It's on here. It's on YouTube somewhere. It's on here. Yep. Where's he telling? Look.
あれはタフネスラビット。打撃にはめっぽう強い。さあ、にゃろい。武装所。
Right here! People are... Yo, I don't want... Nah. Naruto is still one of the strongest series out there, and I do think Naruto can definitely... Like, the upper crazy people, like, what's that girl who looks like Panty and Stocking? Those androids in Naruto are crazy. And yeah, they will run amok in One Piece world. They would almost solo. But I'm saying, in this case, though... When people talk about speed, like they was talking about like how any of the Otsutsuki can react to Luffy. Like, get the hell out of here, bro. None of the Otsutsuki has feats that can really scale to this unless you want to argue they actually traveled deep space like that, which they didn't, because Harvado and I went into the fact that they actually use a special technique that bends space and time to move that fast, but they actually don't move that fast raw speed. What does Rayleigh say here?
君は目が良すぎるがゆえ、どうしてもそれに頼ってしまうようだ。これでよし。気配5分程度まで高められたようだが、見聞色は敵の気配だけでなく、どの程度の強さなのかもわかるようにならんとな。君は目が良すぎるがゆえ、どうしてもそれに頼ってしまうようだ。
And then he teaches him more. Where's the next part? Right here.
目を持っていても、音速、高速、視覚の能力を超えるスピードを捉えることはできまい。
He said it himself in Japanese, speedo, which they literally use when referring to speed. You can't see things that move at velocity of high speed or light. So, literally talking about utilizing your senses. And I know there's people going like, oh, so they're reacting proactively. It don't matter if they're acting proactively because there's scans that prove that it don't matter if your observation hockey can keep up with it. Your body got to move with it. Don't come at me, bro. Get out of here with that, bro. Get out of here with that. Luffy slaps. Anyway, back to the match. You speak in facts. Naruto meta has been the thing for over a decade in OP. That's been the stepchild among the three in America. Exactly, red hair. A lot of people here in America think they know about One Piece. They really don't. Anyway, so how far would you say Luffy get in DB in terms of speed? In terms of speed, like if I don't care about convention, if I don't care about a narrative and lore, Luffy can get to like the low ends of Namek Saga with speed. Because of how linear his numbers could scale. Because remember, Luffy got... Here's what you need to remember. Luffy was doing this. He was 100 times light speed before the time skip. And that's including his base. Then he can dodge the Pacifista in base form and say he's slow. Stack on gear second. And then he gets a Zenkai after fighting like Hordy because he got stronger. Then he... Well, actually not even a Zenkai. He gets stronger. Then he fights Doflamingo where he actually goes all out. Uses Gear 4. So let's count up to there. He got no Zenkais prior. Gear 4 is several fold what he was in Gear second. Doflamingo said, you got the speed, but your attacks tickle me. Even though Luffy can knock out Sai, who can break continents of ice. Doflamingo's tanking multiple continental level attacks, potentially in attack potency, or at least high country level, and is tickling him. So strength is already off the charts. Next off, if you got Luffy is able to bypass his Gear 4 self when he fought Katakuri. Because he got stronger when he beat Doflamingo, then he fought Cracker, barely lost, and then fought Katakuri. Beat him, and then bypasses Gear 4 self into his base form and unlocks Snake Man. So that's stacking on Gear 2nd, a 10 times multiplier, and then another Gear 4, which is several folds, so about 3 times 4, so about 30 to 40 times base. Then, so he's 30 to 40 times faster and stronger than his Gear 4 was against Doflamingo, which is 30 to 40 times faster than 100 times Lightspeed Luffy already. So what's that like? So it's what, like 100? That's like what, 100 for base times 40 times 40. So you got like 160,000 times Lightspeed. Then Luffy bypasses his base form for Gear 4 when he fought Kaido. So again, you can argue that's another 40 times. So you're talking about 6.4 million times the speed of light based on linear scaling. This is kind of I wouldn't say it's calc stacking, but it's doing transitive property and taking it too literally. Obviously, author intent and lore would reduce this number, but typically speaking, you know, that would be the kind of product you would get. And then if you factor in that that's his base, that's his new base form, and then he stacks on that with Gear 4, which is another 40, so he's about like what, 256 million. Then Gear 5, which we don't even know how much stronger that is. That could be tenfold. We have no idea. Gear 5 put him on a completely different dimension of power. Like, he uses all like out of nowhere. But even if you say it was 10 times stronger, Luffy would be like 1 billion times light speed. I'm not going to say that, but you get the point. And then he fights Kizaru in the manga, and Kizaru is still able to keep up with him. It's crazy, bro. So, yeah. Synthesizer Ryu scales to Ginyu Force. Yeah, like so as you've seen with the numbers I just pulled up, Luffy can technically get close to the early Namek Saga. Because he's almost at those millions of light speed. That's how far he would get in Dragon Ball. But that's like extreme numbers. Realistically speaking, in my honest opinion, I think that Luffy more realistically scales to 1,000 times light speed, couple times in terms of dash speed and raw combat. Because that seems to be where Oda's narrative is, like 100 times, 1,000 times. Just like in Naruto. Naruto has ways you can get him to at least 100k times faster than light for KCM multipliers. But Naruto doesn't hit the million mark like One Piece does. And Naruto's not as objective because you need data books for Naruto. One Piece, you don't need a data book. It just tells you in the series straight up. So whereas with Naruto, you can always chalk up things to hyperbole in some cases. One Piece, you can't do that as much. Naruto, I don't even think the data books in Naruto are hyperbole. I'm just saying that the fact that you got to rely on one versus the source material, from a normie perspective, One Piece is clearly faster. But anyway, yeah. Yeah, Kizaru's perception, the reason why he even talks like that is because he's, you know. Anyway, I was asking about earlier, the reason why I wanted to talk about it after stream was because of how it has to do with the spoiler in the game. Look, if you haven't played Xenoverse by now, then get out. I don't care. See, I hear what you're saying, Macadamia, but like, you gotta remember, like, that's like me saying, I hope you guys don't mind the spoiler of Final Fantasy. Look, if you ain't played Final Fantasy by now, no. Go. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, actually, I'm about to wrap up the stream anyway. But if I were to scale Goku to the ZBZ Cosmology 0009, I'm going to say he's probably going to be around reasonably 11th he's going to be upper 10th dimensional levels, borderline 11th dimensional in some cases. Can I see him destroying all timelines in existence? I think if I asked Toriyama, he probably could. I mean, I don't see why he wouldn't be able to. But then again, the way Toriyama's writing the story, he can't lore-wise. So I would say he's solidly 10th dimensional plus up there. Like, he's mid 10th dimensional. Like, he's like super high complex multiversal consistently. If you want to say the upper peak echelons, then I would say like he's at the border of hyper. But other than that, I'm not going to go any crazier than that. I think that's safe enough. But anyway, guys, this is pretty much it. It's about 11 now, 11:30. I think it's time we end the stream. But everyone who stopped by, I really thank you greatly. If you guys are interested and you did enjoy the stream, leave some fires if you want me to like do more content and stream like this more often. I definitely wouldn't mind, and I would look forward to actually streaming with you guys more consistently. But yeah. That being said, and red hair, in my opinion, I think Ichigo absolutely slaughters Naruto with like, you know, I don't even think it's comparable. But I think it depends on the interpretation, because Naruto and Bleach are in the middle ground where Naruto can have this interpretation, especially with the higher dimensional guy. Naruto can literally be 4D at one point. We're not there yet. Boruto's going to have some insane stuff. So Boruto, like, when it comes to Boruto, they're going to get to the point where they're going to be so insane, they will be comparable to Dragon Ball. Meanwhile, though, you're going to have characters like in Bleach. Hard to say, because remember, one of the Squad Zero in the anime she was literally shaking the entire Squad Zero area, which is millions of miles away, and then she was shaking the Serete, and she transcended that and was shaking the Katakura town. She was literally shaking the human world with just her spiritual pressure. I'm just saying. So, yeah, Cell is universal. Yep, Haku was light speed. The bullet art jutsu, the water bullet jutsu was light speed. The one that Kakashi used against Itachi. There's a lot of light speed cases in Naruto. I'm just saying that it's not like Burn D World, where he's literally stated to be 100 times faster. And base Luffy can react to light speed, but couldn't react to base Burn D World. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Bleach's scaling is wacky. So like I said, Naruto and Ichigo is like a toss-up. One Piece, I don't think One Piece beats Boruto characters, but I think a lot of the upper tiers of One Piece can definitely squabble with them. I mean, I don't know, like, Kaguya's never fought someone like Kaguya's never fought someone like Roger, who I would honestly say is probably hundreds of thousands of times the speed of light. Kaguya never fought someone who has better precognition than freaking Sasuke or anyone in Naruto-verse. Kaguya's never fought someone like that. And so how's she going to react to Gold Roger, who negates durability and makes his attacks explode from the inside? Gold Roger punches Kaguya once in her stomach, right? And you got characters who's like moon level, like Odin. He gets swapped away like a fly from Gold Roger, who's just casually. Gold Roger didn't even use advanced hockey. He just did this. The divine departure. Then when Whitebeard came, that's when he turns up his advanced hockey. So you're talking about Roger, who is so much stronger. What's Kagi gonna do if she has like a nigh planetary attack punched into her gut? Because at that point, Naruto can't blow up a planet with a punch. And I'm not saying Gold Roger can like Frieza blow up a planet with a punch, but he scales to Whitebeard in strength. Whitebeard's nature of his Devil Fruit has better AoE, so it can destroy the Earth of One Piece. But AP wise, attack potency, Roger can squabble with Whitebeard and is arguably stronger. And so can Prime Garp and Sengoku. So man, Midaka would beat the out of Goku, bro. He just puts the monkey there, like. Harvado, I love it, man. I mean, as much as I hate to say it, nah, Midaka ain't beating Goku. Goku will whoop her ass, bro. If Goku actually gets it, like in an actual fight, Goku will beat the stuffing out of her. She'll literally be crying for her mom. Now, if it's Ijimu, though, Goku will still beat her ass, bro. She only has super strength area. Nah, I'm playing. I just said Goku's like upper 10D. Goku's like upper 10D, and then like, if Goku's upper 10D, and Ijimu controls Super String Theory, and she's beyond it, then Ijimu will be like a dimension beyond Goku. Technically, unless you highball Goku to the 11th dimension, but even then, Ijimu has way too many hacks. Way too many hacks. She could literally just, oh, you need ki? Well, she finds out what ki is, and she's like, alright, no more ki. Oh, God ki? I don't know what that is, but no violence allowed in this dimension. And it's like, because Ijimu's, she's, you know, you ever heard of like, he's that guy? Ijimu is that girl. Alright, she's that gal. Alright, you're that guy, but she's that gal. Alright, she will. Nobody messes with Ijimu. Anyway, I know, like, that's crazy to think. Like, Goten and Trunks and them mad strong. I gotta read the manga on a live stream one day. I haven't read it in a while. But, you know, I'm letting Dragon Ball Super get really far so we can have a manga marathon. How do you guys like that? A manga marathon, especially during the holidays coming up. Kakarot Kent DC versus Superman Kui. Win. What about Ijimu versus... See, why do you hate Ijimu now? Why would you put her up against Dragon Ball Heroes? That's like me saying, yeah, you're right. A silverback gorilla. That's like saying, yeah, you're right. A silverback gorilla would probably lose a fight to a guy with a machine gun. Now put a Sarabamba against a squirrel. That's what you just asked. Anyway. 0009S, it's simple. Frieza was already galaxy level in the 90s anime. He used 10 times the power to do that against Goku. Trunks sliced him up, even though Frieza could survive his own attacks. And then Goku blocked all of that with his finger. Trunks said, man, I used those same attacks on Frieza. And Goku said, yeah, but you were holding back, I know. So Trunks and Goku, while holding back, is beyond Frieza, who is 10 times galaxy level, and Goku blocked that with a finger, so Goku's finger is 10 times galaxy level. Then Goku trained for 3 years harshly to prepare for the androids. He did that, 19 came along, they were still able to kind of scrap with them, yet even after that, Vegeta and them scaled. The androids were about 5 times stronger because Super Namekian Piccolo is 5 times stronger than his base, and Super Namekian Piccolo was relative to the Super Saiyans, kind of, because he was able to fight Jiro, who Vegeta needed a Sensu to go against in round 2 against them. And even after that, and keep in mind, 19 multiplied his power off of Goku's energy, but even then you got the android stat, and then you got the imperfect cell, then you got semi-perfect cell, who used a Gallic gun multiplier level attack against Vegeta. Super Vegeta still tanked it, had no problem with it. Then you got Cell, who Vegeta states is 1,000 times stronger than Goku. Like, he actually states he's 1,000 times stronger. Like, that's... I'm not making that up. Like, that's actually legit. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Actually, I think I sent this to Jackal at one point. Hold on. See if I can find this crap on Discord. Here it is. Alright, check it out right here, guys. Alright. So if you see like scans like this, but Cell is 1,000 times stronger than Kakaroto, and then you got Cell gets the Zenkai where he's at Son Gohan's power level, it kind of makes sense. Like, it's like, all right, if Goku's finger is 10 times stronger than Galaxy level Frieza, right? Because, I mean, he has to be 10 times stronger than Frieza if his finger could freaking do it. And given that he trained with the Yardrats for over almost a year, I would imagine Goku's gotten like multiple times stronger. Like, Frieza was no difficulty. So if Goku's finger is stronger than Frieza, it's safe to say he's about 10 times stronger. Then you factor in that 3 years of training, Goku would have gotten another 10 times stronger, maybe even 100 times, because you know how strong, it's harsh training. But even after getting much, much stronger, you know, you got the android being 5 times stronger objectively because of the Legendario manga. Then you got Cell, and Cell is 1,000 times stronger. That's like, what's that, like 10,000 times, you know, the 100 times, because Goku's 100 times Galaxy, you got 10,000 times that, because the semi-perfect Cell scaling. So it's like 100,000 times 100. It's like, all right, that's 10 million. Cell gets a Gohan tier power up, right? Yeah. Because remember, the reason I say 10,000 is because Goku is stronger than Grade 3 Trunks. And Grade 3 Trunks is 10 times stronger than his base of Super Saiyan, according to El Legendario Manga, as is a 500 times multiplier. Goku is stronger than Goku, Trunks, and Vegeta. Goku is stronger than Trunks, Vegeta, and Piccolo combined, according to Cell, which is true. And then even then, after all of that, Cell gets a power boost like Son Gohan, becomes so much stronger. So basically, Cell gets a Super Saiyan 2 Rage Boost level Gohan multiplier and is able to close the gap. So like by then, Cell's probably like 1 billion times Galaxy level, 10 billion, just using numbers. And that's not even factoring in the additional Zenkai multipliers that Goku and the others got prior to the time chamber. And this is conservative scaling. So by then, Cell should be close to, if not observable universal level. So that's a very brief explanation, 0009 SS, in case you were wondering why I say Cell is universal. Was going to do a video about it. I still may, but that's just a general consensus as to why Cell is universal. He has more supporting arguments to be universal than someone like Frieza. Frieza has no supporting arguments besides a couple statements. But I mean, if you can blow up a galaxy, I would assume you would be a threat to a universe too. It would take a long time, but that's still scary. And King Kai is likely referring to a threat to the universe or destroy the universe because nobody will be able to stop him. Like, destroy the structure and the societal version of the universe because all order would be in chaos into Frieza's reign. Anyway. Alright. Let's see. Will you research more about Wangling later? You did not ask me anything specific to make emphasis on when you watched random clips. Well, like I said, if I decide to watch them later, I may. It's just a matter of, do I have the time to allot to it? So, yeah. But let me see here. So, yeah. So, to answer your question, Thor's Hammer, I would like to watch it. Probably at some point. But you gotta chill, bro. Like, I got a whole chat I gotta pay attention to. It's not that easy. Oh, it makes sense because most people think... Yeah, it depends, because there's like the galactic nebula for the solar system. There's a lot of arguments and interpretations for Dragon Ball, and some of them have... The thing about Dragon Ball is it has more evidence. Like, it's like the Cell argument I just used. There's multiple evidence to support the Cell argument. It's not just like, oh, you solar system and that's that. No, it's like, oh, look at this, and look at this, and look at this, and look at this data book. So it's like a lot of things support the idea. So, like, I think the thing is you got to remember that when it comes to fictional scaling, you can't address it. Oh, makes sense. Do you think Base Buu Saga Goku can one-shot Super Perfect Cell? No. No. Goku was nervous when he fought Super Perfect Cell in Hell. He could have won, but he was still nervous. He was getting prepared. Pikkon is stronger than Goku Super Saiyan. Like Quaman did a video with Blackened Fist, and they were concluding that Pikkon is stronger, but Goku was just a smarter fighter and caught Pikkon off guard because he only ringed out Pikkon. He didn't knock him out. He just ringed him out. And even Super Kaioken, he punched Pikkon, and like if you look at it here, Pikkon gets punched and then he comes back. Right here.
Super KO 10! Kamehameha!
Already responded. He recovered like mad quick. Took no damage. So, in other words, you gotta factor in that Pikkon literally took a Super Saiyan 2 level attack with a Kaioken multiplier, bro. Like, not Super Saiyan 2. He took a mastered Super Saiyan with Kaioken times 2. Still tanked it. Came back. That's crazy. Well, he's... let me see here. Sorry for the bother much, LOL, but I think it would be great to make a video or stream about Goku's abilities, hacks, and resistance to hacks. Yeah, that would be. Good idea. Kakarot Kent is Goku in DC. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. But alright, though. Now that we've really gotten to the baseline and the conclusion, I do have to conclude the video, guys, for today. I would love to answer more questions, but you guys will have to catch me on the next stream where I can sit down and answer a little bit more questions in regards to this. This was a fun stream nonetheless. Thank you guys for stopping by. Hope I was able to answer as many questions as I tried to answer. If I didn't get to your question, I apologize. Definitely save it and copy and paste it for the next stream, as we'll be able to answer a little bit more and get an idea. When is the next stream? Depends on how bad you guys want it. So if this video gets, of course, 1,000 likes, then maybe I'll do another. No, I'm just kidding. That's too much. Now, if this video gets 500 likes, then I'll consider it. I mean, you know. But, you know, until then, I will probably be streaming later on Twitch about Smash Brothers and such. So I'll be mostly focusing on gaming content. In the meanwhile, I'll try to jump back and forth between YouTube and Twitch to kind of get a better balance on things. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Atari HB, and I'm signing off. I'll see you guys on Twitch. Peace.